Okay. Hi, I'm Noelle, also known as Charge and Die. I tell Scareactor Stories on TikTok and Instagram, all the things. I moved over to YouTube to do these live streams with my fellow Scareactors so that they can tell their stories too. Would you like to take over, Skye, and introduce yourself?
Yes, I said I was going to make this really awkward, but I won't.
I
I'll
appreciate
keep
that.
I'll keep it short and sweet though. I'm Sky. Hello. I don't have a TikTok. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm old, I guess.
Get with the
But
times.
I know I need to get one. I guess I've been hearing lots of things about it. Um, I've been a character for about like seven years ish, I would say, which is crazy to think about now because I'm like, wow, that's a long period of my life that I was doing it. Um, and yeah, I'm just excited to be here and tell stories.
Yay. So, how did you get started scaring?
Actually, I was thinking about this because you emailed me, and I was like, how did I?
This
I
is why I send the
didn't
questions
even
ahead of
like,
time so you have time to think about
right?
it.
I was in my car earlier, like, what am I gonna say? It was weird because I had heard about like horror nights and haunts and things from one of my friends who used to go every year, and I never went. I think I'd gone to Universal like when I was younger, and I didn't think that places had haunts. I didn't really know anything about it. I was just like, I've seen some videos, and that was about it from like my friend's like old, Razor phone. God, those are old. And my ex at the time was a bumblebee, like at the well, my boyfriend at the time, I guess it's now my ex. He was a bumblebee in the park, and his friend was like, "I'm auditioning for horror nights. Do you want to come?" And we were all at college together, so we were like all talking about it. And he was like, "Let's both go and audition." And I was like, "You can do that. You can just go and okay." And we were like in the middle of like our year doing like really intense like ridiculous acting works. I went to a crazy conservatory college, and it was like so stringent and stressful. And so I remember going, and they were like, lose your mind, just go out and absolutely murder the carpet. And I was like, yes, I'm here for this.
You
And
had him
I was
repressed for so long.
I really did. I was like, I had to be so proper at school. And I was like, I can just throw myself across the room. Yes, please. I don't even remember what I did. I left with two skinned knees. I was like, I know I put in work that day, and I got my little like callback slip, and I was like, my life has begun, and I was just so excited from there, and I just kept going after that, just couldn't stop me.
Nice. Just grow from there to a full-fledged scare. Yes. What have been some of your favorite characters that you've played, or some of the favorite mazes you've worked in?
At Universal, I loved being Olivia in Evil Dead,
Okay.
partially just because our prosthetic was just here, like just on one side of our face. And that year they had so many full face prosthetics for like zombies and things. And I would see them like trying to like, eat French fries like through through like the holes in their prosthetics, like just struggling. And I'm over here like munching on burgers, like I'm sorry, that looks
Sucks to be
tough,
you.
you
I just
guys.
got this one
Just like the
prosthetic. I got so much
easiest,
freedom.
yeah. At the end of the night, I would freak out guests waiting for like our ride because I would just peel it off my face, which you're not supposed to do. Don't
No.
ever, don't ever. So bad. I'm amazed I did not lose all of my skin.
This
I would just like
prosthetic turned
peel
real,
it
real
off at the
quick.
end of the night.
Just.
Yeah, that horrified people more than them coming through the maze. They were like, "Is she good?" I was just there like, ah, and like my regular street clothes, just like peeling my face off. It was gross. But I loved it because I was like a face character. So people would recognize me. They would walk through and they'd be like, Olivia. And I was like,
You
yes,
got it.
it's me.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, you
Anytime
got
I get
it.
to play something that like people recognize is really cool. I loved being Freddie. I know there's very few girls that get to be Freddie.
You
Um,
were one of the Freddies in 2017, one of the pool Freddies, weren't you?
I was in Pool originally, and then they put me in Titans of Terror, which so Scott Kleckner, for those of you who don't know, he like casts the characters for Horror Nights at Universal, and he was telling me he's like, your hair is not going to fit under this mask because normally my hair is not like this. It's like it's curly and large, and I was like, just watch me. I'm gonna squish it down. You're gonna be surprised because it's like a very skin tight mask. So I think
Mm,
he was doing it more as like a joke, like you can't fit in this, and I was like,
challenge.
yes, I can. And I went and did it one night, and the managers of the maze loved me and were like, stay forever. And I was like, I would love to.
Oh.
And I had so much fun that year being Freddy. I literally, oh my God, I went crazy. They had the most fun scare. I think I like completely destroyed a prop and got in trouble for it because I wasn't supposed to use my claws, but I did.
Oh,
And that was awesome.
no. Yeah, Freddy
I
hurt his
might have
claws.
like scratched up the face of it, but ooh, I had a good time.
That's what
And besides that, I mean, like I always have fun with my characters. I love being a wolf girl, obviously, because literally that was like a sisterhood that year for sure, for sure. The four of us
Oh,
were
we
like,
looked out for each other for sure.
oh,
Speaking of,
we
Mackenzie said she's on.
yes. Oh my
Would
gosh.
you like me to add her?
Yes, do it. Oh my God, y'all aren't ready for the three of us. So.
we're gonna be crazy. We need an extra night for this though because we talk a lot and we have a lot of stories and
We have so many stories.
we have so many stories. I've requested you, huh? Yes, I just saw that. I am going to go to intermission real quick so I can add on yet another wolf girl, and we're gonna have 3 out of the 4 wolf girls. This was unplanned. I only planned on talking to Skye tonight, but I see Mackenzie in the chat. I'm gonna add her in.
God.
Give me like a minute or two. I will be right back. I'm gonna see if I can add her in real quick. So we will be back. Hold on. We are back. We got 3 out of the 4 wolf girls. This is unprecedented on these streams because I've only been doing this a couple weeks, but still, like I was not expecting this. So this is exciting. So we have about an hour. We have less than an hour before Kim's time. Let's do Mackenzie. Would you like to introduce yourself real quick and put you on the spot?
Do it.
I'm Mackenzie. It's been over almost 2 years since my last scare.
That's true.
Right. I'm Mackenzie, like I said, and I actually did Halloween Horror Nights with these 2 lovely ladies. HH1028, what's up? Wolf Sisters. And then I actually also did Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando.
Yeah.
So,
can you tell us a little of the differences between the Orlando Halloween Horror Nights and the Hollywood one?
Yours is bad.
what?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Oh, trouble. Differences, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, there's scare zones in areas, like, the layout was a lot bigger, so they had a whole lot more room to play around in. In certain areas, the alcohol consumption was through the roof, compared to Halloween Horror Nights here. But other than that, it was pretty much the same. I mean, I know it was, like, different designers who incorporated on both coasts, so totally different houses and haunts and streets, but it was a lot of fun.
Yay. How did you get started scaring? I'm going to ask you the same questions I already asked Skye, and then we'll get to our stories.
We'll catch it up.
Gotta catch up.
So, I started, I had originally moved to Orlando and went to Halloween Horror Nights with a friend of mine, and it freaked me out because, you know, I'm kind of a little pansy because there's a big difference between scaring people and getting scared. So once I kind of really started getting back into the acting entertainment game, I decided to just try my luck at Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, and they actually put me in the pool area, which they called Fire Crew. So I got to just go to all the different locations across the park wherever they needed, and that was really, really fun because I just got to do so many different things. And I remember some of the people were even telling me, they're like, I'm so jealous that you get to, you know, just venture out and do more than we do.
It's true. I used to be a little jealous of pool too, because it's like, oh, you guys get to see all the mazes. There's no guarantee that we will even go through the mazes when we work the event. And I'm really upset because I wanted to see Terror Tram in 2018, but we never got to see it. And now it's not even a thing anymore. They got rid of Terror Tram. So.
Oh God, I do remember the year I did Evil Dead. We were like breaking all the rules. Like we legitimately would go on the Mummy on our breaks. Like we would just like go on the roller coaster, like put on a mask and glasses and go get in line. And like we're not allowed to do that. We're like, no one cares. You can't do that anymore.
No, not at all.
They won't let you go on the rides now.
No. But Skye, the reason I asked if you did Freddy on Terror Tram in 2017, I swear to God, either you or someone who looked just like you was a Freddy, like a pool Freddy one of those nights, and all the guy Freddys were like, "Who's this chick?" Like, just coming in, being, "Oh shit, it's a girl! Like, who is she?" Like,
I have a lookalike out there who was just down at
it
Terror
must have been
Tram,
because I
just
swear to
staring
God,
it
it
at
was you. I don't know.
I'm lying. You know it was you. You just
I'm
snuck
glad
in
at
there.
least if it's like a I'm glad at least if it's like a lookalike that she did it justice. That it wasn't like she was down there being terrible and like somebody blamed me.
It's like you're getting
Like,
her good
it
credit.
worked
Yeah.
out. Yeah. Thank you, lookalike out there.
It's like the wolf in the maze versus the wolf in the street. I got some compliments too of like, "Oh man, you're the one in the blue. Oh, you were great in the maze." I'm like, "Thank
Yes,
you."
I ran all the way up here.
Yes,
Just
I
for you.
totally went all the way to the maze and then back to New York Street just to scare you again.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
have that
God.
kind of speed.
So what was your reactions when you originally got cast as one of the Wolf Girls on New York Street?
Oh, you want to take it first, Kenzie?
I can. I was actually pretty excited. Honestly, I didn't think I was gonna make it through, like, and get the golden ticket. But when I got the golden ticket, I was super pumped. And putting on that face mask and just getting to be a part of a crazy sisterhood was too much fun.
I had kind of like heard about it before because I had been hearing that there was a possibility that I would do scaremonies, like the opening thing that happens before like everybody's kind of like released into the park.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was like trying to decide if I was going to go back to Horror Nights or go do a show with this interactive theater company that also is horror based basically. And I heard that and I was like, so you mean I get to be on the streets running free and also I get to do a whole show at the beginning? Yeah, I'm coming back for that. And so I was so excited. I remember I saw like the costume design for it and I knew like the prosthetics were going to be so cool. And I just got to be like out and free because everything else up until then had been in a maze. And I was like, this is going to be entirely different. I was psyched.
You had way too much fun out there.
Oh yeah,
Girl.
no. John Murray
Girl.
called you out too, remember?
Yeah, one of my friends had to send me that because I didn't have a Twitter. But technically I don't. Don't try to find me on Twitter. I have like 3 tweets. Okay, don't do it.
Don't
But I didn't have one at all. Yeah, it's not worth it. I didn't have one at all, and my friend actually sent me like a screenshot of John Murdy calling me out with like a picture of me on like the official like Horror Nights Twitter because I'd been crawling around on all fours wherever he was that night, and I was like, I'm going to make you notice me. It paid off. It worked.
Yay! And for those who don't know, John Murdy like designed Halloween Horror Nights and the mazes and stuff. Like he's the coordinator of everything. So he's like the guy you want to impress. And Mackenzie, you and I got to hang out with him and his wife and kids a bit backstage.
Yeah, hide and seek or something.
It was random, but it was cool. Like
nice.
we pretended to be scared by them because apparently his daughters really loved the Wolf Girls, so we were like, no, you scared us back, and hugs and okay, yeah. So we got to hang out with his family a little bit. It's like guaranteed he still doesn't know who I am, but you know, I could always come and be like, I hugged your daughter, love me.
You could only see this of me, but you know what?
I gotta say, Skye, I still love the most infamous you got on social media was when Noah Centino took that picture with you, and all of a sudden it was like Noah fought with his girlfriend.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So Noah.
She
Noah
got famous
Centineo,
for like 5 seconds.
Girl, fame is a fickle friend. Noah Centineo came and like because we're like a lot of the scare actors in Scare Zone 1 will take pictures with celebrities. And since I wasn't like technically, because like you two are kind of like Disney princesses, like
Mackenzie took the pictures of the full wolf because like Red Riding Hood is as copyrighted as Cinderella is. So I took like one picture, and then they were like, "It's too close though."
We can't. And then I was technically a little Bo Peep who like nobody cares about. So they were like, throw her in all the photos. So it was awesome. But I took one with Noah Centineo and his friends. If you don't know who that is, he's like the lead in To All the Boys I've Loved Before on Netflix. And we took a picture afterward where he was like playing around with me because usually after the picture's done, I'll like kind of crouch and crawl around and still try to like scare people. So he got down on the ground on all fours and was like playing around with me and like gave me a high five. And I was like, we're friends now. That's fine.
Yeah.
And every time he saw me after that, he was like, there's my wife. And I was like, hey. And I didn't think anything of it. And he posted that picture on his Instagram, and it was like, had a fight with Bae last night or something. And it blew up so much to the point that they actually like one of those like on like YouTube channels that like does like, you know, celeb news did a whole video about it. And it was like, who's the mystery girl in Noah Centineo's latest Instagram post? It's no one, just a scare actor. He's not dating anyone. And I was like, is this what fame feels like? Wow.
This warm, fleeting feeling in my chest.
Right? I went down the street, I was like, hello, it's me.
It's me.
I'm the and
we
everybody
broke up, but it's
like,
fine.
that was me. So great to see you. And I was like, girl, no, it wasn't. You white. Clearly it wasn't you. My hair is curly. You can tell my skin tone. Lies you tell. Like, everybody was claiming that it was them. It was the weirdest. It was the weirdest thing.
I mean, what really is there to gain from lying like that? I don't get that. I don't get why people do that. It's like, just own up and say, no, it wasn't me, but the girl who it was, that's pretty dope, you know? I wish it were happening to me.
Jeez, trying to claim it.
Like, what are you really trying to claim? What happens after?
a gentle hand touch. That's all that we shared, people. That was it.
That was it. That was the magical moment.
They wanted to feel that hand touch. They just wanted that 2 degrees of separation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They wanted to think it was them. That one magical moment that we
living vicariously through another in order to get the fame, the feeling of fame. They jealous. They're all jealous. Yep. Oh my gosh. So, what were some of your favorite moments scaring as the wolf pack?
Oh my gosh.
Too many, I know, right?
I
just all so awesome. Our little
we had towards the end, because like less and less people were coming, especially after Halloween, less people came. So we just all developed a game of like, we're gonna go fetch things. And so we had another Scareactor throw like glow sticks, and we would just run, scare somebody, fetch the glow stick, and like run back.
I gotta say, I had a lot of trouble with that though, with the claws I had, because they didn't bend. So I was like trying to do this balancing act with the like the fingernails of the claws. I'm just like, I caught it.
I had problems. I had problems with that, but also since you and I couldn't see very much, like, we literally had like this much depth perception. There was one time that they threw the glow stick, they threw it, and I turned around to try and scare somebody and get it, and at the same time, my foot caught my cape or something, and I just ate it.
Oh no!
And just like fell on the ground.
Cape that year.
It was very majestic, very hot.
It did get hot, didn't it? Not only did you have the cape, but you had the full fur leotard going on.
Fur leotard.
Oh, they had the most intense costume.
You know, gloves under the gloves, because, you know, you didn't want to drip all in there.
Oh, I didn't have gloves under the gloves. What I did was, you ever see me, like, roar to the sky randomly? It's so in character. That was to get the sweat down.
Yeah.
From the gloves.
I did that once, and I was like, I'm good. Can I get some gloves?
Oh, God. Meanwhile, I was freezing because I had like this little baby doll dress on.
Yeah,
they had the nerve to maybe wear like legitimate pantaloons underneath. Like
you didn't start with that though. You started off without them, and they were like, "That's barely covering her booty. We should give her some really ugly ass pantaloons underneath." There we go. That's more child friendly.
Full pants, and then they also had me. They had me in those boots that I could. They had me in heeled boots to start off with. Boots. Yeah, legitimate go-go boots. I was like, I can't move. My feet were tore up the first like nights. I was like, no. So I had like legitimate pediatric shoes. Like I had like what doctors wear. They had like support for like the sole of my foot. They had like arch like thing to help. They had like special cushions. Like
The old lady
My
shoes.
I was running around in flat out sneakers. Okay, my character design was like svelte, and she had her little boots, and then I was just running around in like white sneakers.
You were
And they had
like
to like throw some dirt on me.
the little kid admiring that character so much and wanting to be like it, but not sure how. So it's like when a little girl dresses up in mom's like big high heels and like the lipstick everywhere. It's like, I tried.
There's video out there of me doing the opening ceremonies both with my sneakers on and with my boots on, and you can see me skipping out of my boots. You can like see the pain.
Oh.
You can like see like every step is like ow, ow. And with my sneakers, I'm like, come at me. Can't nobody stop me now.
I don't know why they
I loved
even
how
approve of heels. Like, to be in a scare zone with heels, like, you're just asking for a liability.
Yeah. Someone's gonna trip and
I loved
ankle's
how
gonna
normal.
roll.
Normal. Well, I was gonna say I love how normal you looked in the back, and then you just turned around and it was just a full on just.
Yeah, I had nothing on the back of my outfit. I had no blood, no dirt. It was clean. The back of my pants were clean. The back of my dress was clean. And then it was just my hair, my just like big curly hair. So from behind, people thought I was just like a girl in a dress. And then I would turn around and it's just like blood, crazy ass teeth, this prosthetic. It was.
And you got to keep the teeth too, didn't you? What'd you do with the teeth?
I did. They are, I think they're downstairs somewhere, actually. They were on my vanity for a really long time. And then I took them for a shoot somewhere. They might be in like a drawer. But I've put them in. I've put them in recently. They still
I would
work.
assume
They
so.
still
It's
fit.
almost Halloween.
Yeah.
You gotta use those
I was like,
babies.
I gotta use them for something. Hilariously, though, towards the end, like I had to do this big bite at the end of ceremonies. And my teeth kept falling out of my mouth at the end of it. So I was just running with my teeth in my hands, running away.
I remember at the opening ceremony, first off, kind of the same stitch as you, where with the different shoes and different recordings of the ceremony, you could kind of tell where in the season it was based on what shoes you were wearing. They didn't have boots in my size that I was supposed to have. So then they gave me these really bulky, ugly, black men's hardware boots of sorts, and it was just so clunky and heavy to move in, and it did not work with the outfit at all. But it was like, at least there's some sort of ankle support, at least I have shoes, like it's fine, whatever. And then like a little bit into the season, I don't want to say halfway through the season, I think it was before that, they finally got me my boots and I was able to wear them. And then on the last day of Horror Nights, they had the audacity to almost throw those boots away. And I'm like, no, I want those boots. They're like, but it's got like holes in it and stuff. Here, don't you want these things? And it was like PTSD from the beginning. It was the exact same boots that I started out with. And I'm like, no, it's the last night. Are you kidding me? Just give me my boots back. Just what are you doing?
I don't care if all of my toes are popping out. I'm wearing those boots.
They were perfectly comfortable. They were not falling apart. It was just the pleather on the outside was a little scuffed off. And I'm like, does that really merit throwing them away entirely? No, come on.
If people are looking at your shoes, clearly you're not doing your job right.
Right? It's my job to look at shoes, not yours. Because in order to make the wolf look at people, we had to look at shoes the whole time. Just like...
Oh, I forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah, we had no upper, lower, or peripheral vision. And to make the wolf look at people, we had to look down. So,
yeah. So
that was a fun time.
Me and my counterpart had to follow these two around to make sure that nobody harassed them, because people would just be coming up from the back, and I'm like, I can't see them. We're like your security pro. We were just like following you guys. Like I was like, I'm your security detail.
Yeah, Aubrey was my go-to. She was the Snow White wolf, just pointing at someone whoever touched me, and then I would run to get security, be like, you see that wolf? And even though we had a full-on wolf scare actress pointing at someone, following them through the crowd, I ran to security and I was like, hey, you see that wolf? And he's like, yeah. Okay, she's pointing at someone who touched me, kick them out. And he's like, where? I'm like, you see the wolf? Yeah. Look at who she's pointing. Where? Let me give you a wolf escort, man. Follow me. And it was like, yes. I run forward, look back. He's just slowly coming by. And I run back. I'm like, come on. I give you permission to walk faster. Let's go. You have wolf escort. Let's go. And I did the full-on Will Smith to Jada Pinkett Smith. This one here. Right here. And even Aubrey's like on the other side. We're presenting this man in a gray sweatshirt who like physically hurt me. Here. And security's like, where? This one, kick him out. And the guy's like, I didn't do anything. And security's like, oh, well, he said he didn't do anything. I'm like, we are saying he did. He has reason to lie. Why do we have reason to lie about this random ass client? Like, what?
Right?
Get the guest out. Get out of
like,
there.
What do they think we're doing? Just like out there on set, and we're like, that one needs to go. He touched me. Like, we're not like making things up.
God, I wish we could.
Which one deserves to get kicked out today? I don't like that hat with your shoes. This one touched me. Get him out. Like, no.
To go.
We can't see anything anyway. I can say nice shoes. That's it. Like, I can't. Oh, God.
My back one time though. She apparently there was some dude that was trying to mess with me, and all I heard was he touched her, and I looked, and she's pointing at the dude that's like walking by me, and the security guard's standing there. He grabs his arm, and he's like, "Listen to me," and he just like walks him towards the gate, and just, you know, I don't even know. I was like, "What is going on?"
Apparently
so when I got
something
backstage,
happened.
like, okay. I got backstage because it was my break time right around then, and one of our managers was just like, "So what do you want to do? Do you want to kick him out?" And I was like, "I didn't even know what he did." I was like, "What did he do?"
Could someone fill me in on the thing that happened to me, please?
I was like, I can't see. Like, what is this?
I had that happen once too. Like when Kelsey was filling in for Aubrey one of those nights, she was on top of it, like to protect me. Like it was so cool. This guy apparently pet my back to feel the fur, and I didn't feel it because, you know, my back's super sweaty. I don't know what I'm feeling. So I'm just walking by, and then all of a sudden Kelsey comes up like 2 minutes later going, "Are you okay? We kicked the guy out for you." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "That guy, he just full on just like touched your back, like pet your back." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't feel it, but thank you." Hi, Pink Diamond. Yes, I am reading comments. Yes, I do remember you. Hello. Do you have any scare actor questions? Anybody in the chat? We got 2 scare actors here. These are my fellow wolf girls. 3 out of the 4 wolf girls for the wolf pack. Most of my Scareactor stories on TikTok include me being a wolf. Mackenzie was the other full wolf, so we had the same costume, other than she was Red Riding Hood, I was Cinderella, and Skye was a half-transformed wolf, so she could talk about the prosthetics she wore and the teeth and everything. It's super cool. Super cool. Pink Diamond wants to know, have you ever been scared by another scare actor?
Accidentally, yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly if they're in prosthetics, because like, you know, it's night, so sometimes like in the buildings or backstage, there's not lights turned on. I'll be going around the corner minding my business, and then someone comes around. I'm like, "Oh, hi, I'm sorry. I didn't expect you to come around the corner like that." But not like out in the zone or anything. It's usually like if you run into someone by accident or like go around a corner or something like that. That's usually what gets me.
Yeah. The pop-outs.
A little.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's the same for me. Like, I mean, this was back in Orlando, but I was, you know, doing the swap out, and we were in the like tiny tunnels in the back of the house going through, and I was walking, minding my own business, and all of a sudden there's this like demon Darth Maul looking dude coming at me. And I was like, oh. I was ready to throw hands. I was like, yeah. Okay.
I will say when we walked through the mazes, Kenzie, you were.
I was a wimp.
We went through the
first
mazes.
couple of ones, like I'm not gonna lie, like I was a little bit of a wimp because, like I said, my dad traumatized me when I was like knee-high to a grasshopper, taking me through a haunted house. So like forever in my life, I was traumatized. So like the first few haunted houses, they allowed us to go through haunted houses on a break, and the first few that we went through, I was the biggest little chicken ever. But by the last few, I was waving at everybody. I was like, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on?"
I know. I'm the worst to take through. Like, I'm always the one that's like cheering people on. Like, someone will scare me and I'll laugh, and then I'll be like, "Yay!" I would hate me. Like, if I was working, I'd be like, "Oh, shut that girl up. Get her out. We hate her." I realized I'm that person. I'm like, oh,
She laughed. Get her out of here.
I'm sorry to everybody whose mazes I walked through who I acted that. I apologize.
I realized going through mazes that I am the person that I hate to scare too, because either I have no reaction at all, even though I try, if you don't scare me, I still want to give a little something because I appreciate the work, right? Even though I'm desensitized a little, like you can still get me, but most of the time you won't, and it'll be pretend. I'm sorry, I'm acting. So either I'll have no reaction, I'll swear real loud, or what do I do? God, what did I do? Because I went through with a camera to vlog it last year when I went through alone on Friday the 13th. And that was the first time going through Halloween Horror Nights as a guest. I'd never gone as a guest before. I've only worked the event. So I was going through as a guest for the first time, and I was alone. And just by that fact, I was already scared. So people legitimately got me. And while I was editing my vlog, I was just like, oh my God, I'm so annoying. I'm like screaming at everything. No, get away. I fall out, dropped to the floor at once, and I'm like, I sound so annoying. Why am I like? But they were legitimate reactions. I was not putting on an act. So if you've seen that vlog, those are my legitimate reactions. I was just scared to be alone, and no one went through the haunt with me. Most people will start behind me, and then they'll give me a few feet, and I'm like, why?
And every time I go anywhere by myself, they send me alone, and I don't scare. So people are like, wow, you're so brave. And I'm just like walking through like,
this is nice. What a nice set. Oh.
Kid on Christmas, just like, yay for scary things. Yay.
I'm so different getting scared alone versus with other people, because when I'm with other people, I'm like more protective over them, so I won't have a reaction, but I want them to enjoy themselves and have a reaction, so I'll be like, it's okay. And of course, if I'm really good friends with the person, I will laugh so hard when they drop to the floor. Like, you have to, you're besties, So I was going through Killer Clowns last year with my boyfriend because he was working the maze as a tech, so he had to go through many, many times and be like, hey, press your trigger. I need to know if it works. And he's 6'4". You guys met him. So he's like 6'4". And when someone is that tall, they don't get scared of things like the same way. So if anything is taller than I'll say him, I'll speak for him. If anything is taller than him, he's already uncomfortable because he's not used to things being taller than him. Those clowns were so tall that it gave him the creeps, but there was this one specific part when we went through together where a clown popped out of a window above all of us. And he dropped. He's like, oh my God. I'm like, you work this maze. What are you talking? I think it was before he worked it at that point, to be fair. But he was legitimately scared at that point. I'm like, yay. Yay. Thank you. I clapped for that person. I'm like, thank you. Thanks. He's so hard to scare. Let's see. What other questions? Where should someone start for getting into scare acting? My YouTube channel. I'm just kidding.
There's one.
I have some basic videos on basics, but without that plug, look up local haunts. I don't
look
know.
Look up haunts. I found because I also work for an interactive theater company called Delusion, and I found them on backstage.com, y'all. So you could find them anywhere if you just start typing in. There's so many experiences besides the theme parks that you could be doing as well. You don't have to necessarily be a theme park scare actor. You can be scare actor.
No, that's very specialty. Yeah, you could do escape rooms. You could do. There's dinner theater maybe that does murder mystery. If you want to be a dead body on a table, Yeah,
it just depends on what you. If you're more into character work, look into stuff like that. That's more dinner theater or interactive productions. Because they're definitely more you're a character, you have lines, it is an actual production. It's still the same kind of hours, but you're doing the same kind of show over and over and over and over again every night for multiple guests that are coming through. So it's a different type of experience. Whereas if you're in a theme park, you're just kind of running the whole night. And depending on if you're in a maze or a scare zone, it's slightly different, but it's a different vibe. So it just depends on what you're looking for in terms of being a scare actor, really. Best things I can do. Hi, Tristan. I just saw that in the comments.
Tristan's world, yeah. Pink Diamond. What is the youngest you could be to scare act? Because I've always wanted to act in a haunted house. I usually just say look up the local
I think 18.
laws. Like, it depends on where you live and how young you can work, and then it also depends on the haunt. Because if it's like a volunteer thing, if you're a kid and you have parental permission, you might be able to do it.
Yeah.
But if you're like being hired and being paid, that falls into labor laws. So just look up your local labor laws and see how old you have to be.
Important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here it's 18.
It's
So
different
we're
everywhere.
in Hollywood, by the way. We're in Hollywood. We're in California, Los Angeles. 18 is the youngest to work, at least for theme parks. Yeah. Let's see. Tristan's World. Do you guys play Among Us? I do. Do you guys
Yes.
play Among Us? Yeah?
I do. I tried to get Kinsey into it. She doesn't play any games.
Haven't
so-
yet. Oh, stop.
Play it with
We're
me.
go-
I'm looking
We're,
for a
we're
few more
gonna get
people.
her. We're gonna
But
get
Noelle,
her.
I'm gonna do it with you and not with Skye.
Okay. I'm fine with that. I get what I want in the end. That's fine. No, honestly, though, because Glenn and I tend to play with a bunch of Glenn's friends, and, you know, some of them have work the next morning, can't stay up too late, or, like, I don't know, there's always something going on. So the max we've ever had is a group of 7, which is the minimum you need for 2 imposters. And we want 2 imposters, so we want a max of 10. You know, we want that full 10 group. So if you guys are down, let me know. So I definitely need to
I'm
hop on
always
that trend
down.
while it's still trendy. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It is a fun game.
Playing with a bunch of 13-year-olds.
Feel Skye's laser focus.
It's Huxton. There's the green stripe again. Yeah, that ain't going away. Just deal with it. Sorry. Tristan's World. Skye is sus. She's always sus.
I'm always
She's always sus, so you'll never know if she's crewmate or imposter, because she is just always sus.
constantly. I live my life.
Constantly. Oh, it's so funny because we'll play with my boyfriend's friend Kurt sometimes, and I just do this to mess with him. I don't mean for this to actually be a thing, but now it's kind of a thing, where I play this little prank on him where we're trying to vote someone out, and everyone's trying to vote someone out, but it's too early in the game to decide who is the imposter. So then I'll chime in and be like, maybe we should just skip this round, you guys. And if Kurt's the first one on top of it, like, yeah, maybe we should just skip. I go, guys, it's Kurt, vote him out. And then we'll vote him out. And it's happened twice now. And both times he was the imposter. And he's like, Noelle, stop it. And I'm
Look
like,
at that. Look at that.
sorry.
Someone's too quick to the jump. That's when
Don't
you know
be
you're like,
sus. I'm sorry. Okay, let's see. Hi, Larry of the Void, X Huxton. I want to go to a haunted house. Have not done so yet. I haven't done that this year anyway. I want to be really careful
most
with
things
the
are
mess.
drive-ins now, so
Yeah, I don't know how that works, but
Like,
apparently it's
it's-
going okay because everyone's either working or going to LA Haunted Hayride. So-
yeah, I got offered to work at this place called The Bite, which is another drive-through thing, but it's like 40 minutes away, and I was like, I don't know if it's worth it. I don't think I'd be making that much. So
Yeah, it's like, let's just
I'm
take
gonna
the
get off unemployment. It
It's
needs to be for a
fine.
good reason.
Let's see, Tristan's World. If you are cleaning a vacuum, are you the vacuum cleaner?
Yes.
Larry of the Void. Has
Yes.
anyone ever scared you when you were supposed to scare them? Who wants to
No,
start this
they
one?
try.
No.
They try. You'll be trying to like just
Oh,
do
they
your job, what you're paid to do, and people are like, boo.
Oh.
Great, good try. I think all of us have sarcastically clapped at somebody at one point for trying.
Oh, absolutely, all the way through the zone. Oh, we got the whole zone on it. I don't know if either of you were in the zone when this happened. I don't know if it's just me
I think
and
I wasn't.
Aubrey.
'Cause I remember you telling me about this. I
It
don't
was
think I
a funny moment.
Right.
So I'll say it for those who don't know what I'm talking about, which is everyone else in the chat. There was a time, and I think I said this story before in my TikTok. Maybe I'll post it again. I don't know. It didn't do very well, but because I didn't adopt a kid, it's fine. But it was a really, really slow night. It was me and maybe like 3 other people out in our zone. It was so dead, so open of an area. We didn't know what we were doing. And these 2 teens started walking through. One of them was this young teenage looking girl. And I go in and I try and scare her as best I can. And she just stares at me, goes, "You're not scary." And I just like cock my head a little. I'm like, okay. And she keeps walking. And halfway through the zone, she turns around and looks at everyone in the zone, goes, "None of you are scary." And then, as a hive mind, all of us working the zone just started slowly clapping at her and walked her out the zone. Just all at once. I don't even remember looking over at anyone. We just started.
Everyone became one.
We became one in that moment. We were just all like, nice.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we're not scary. What are you going to do about
One
it?
of you was on when I got like the epic triple scare. I don't know who it was. One of you was on with me. And there was some guy who like at the start of our section of our zone tried to like literally run at me and go, "Boo!" And I was like, oh, it's on.
Revenge.
It's on, sir. And let me tell you, the fire tower guys and the fog was on my side that night, okay? I vanished into the fog, managed to come around, crawl on the ground, like in front of him, pop up in the middle of the fog and scare him once. He took off running, was hiding somewhere, so I went around behind him, got him again. And then when he managed to make it out of our zone, I got really low in the fog, got up, did a, like, this sounds really cool, but I promise you it really wasn't. I was in a lot of pain after this, okay? And I get up and like in the fog, I do a full back bend and I'm staring at him like backwards. The fire goes off and he turns around and I just flip up and he takes off running. And I'm just getting there like, "Oh, you tried it. You failed. This is why I'm paid to do this." And then I hobbled offset because I was in a lot of
Were you wearing those heels at the time?
No, thank God I had my orthopedic shoes on. I was good to go.
I don't know if I was the one on set. If I was, I know I didn't see it, but I do remember you telling me about this.
Yeah, sure. I remember I ran to whoever was off set and I was like, "You will not believe."
I remember you telling me it for sure. I remember hearing about this.
Oh my gosh, it was epic. It was epic. I hate people who try to scare us back. I'm like, don't. Just don't. Don't waste your time.
I wish I could talk because I would say, "Do you want to audition? Do you want to get paid for this?" I mean, you're not doing a good job. You haven't convinced me.
Yeah,
I clapped a girl out of our scare zone who tried to do the same thing as you, Noelle. She was like, well, she tried to scare me. She's like, "Boo!" And I was like, and I'm like following her as she's walking and her friends are laughing hysterically. And she's like, "I get it. Okay, I get it. And I'm like,
I love either like a sarcastic clap or a delayed reaction. Like they scare you and you're just like, and all their friends are like, "Oh."
I hate the people annoy me the most when they have a big reaction to what they did and I've literally none. Because I get it all the time where I'll just be walking and someone will pop out in front of me or from behind me or whatever and they'll go, "Boo!" And it's always boo, like as if that's the thing that's gonna scare me. Ha! Ghost! Too many men have ghosted me and now I'm traumatized! Ah! Like, that doesn't work, just so you know. Don't yell boo, it doesn't work. It's too hokey. So they'll jump out and yell boo, and I'll literally not move at all, not even flinch. I'll just stare at them, and they'll go, "Ha! God, oh God, she's so scared. Look at her. She's like shaking in her boots, like, ah!" And I'm like, I literally can't, I'm not moving. What do you want? I'm not doing anything.
What are you seeing that I'm not? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
There was one guy who came up from behind me and grabbed my waist from behind. So I did a little jump because I was not expecting to be fucking assaulted right there, you know? Do not touch me, especially from behind. So I wasn't scared. I was more surprised. And he comes from behind to the front and goes, "Ha! Got you! You jumped!" Blah, blah, blah. And in my head, I was like, "Sir, you just did a really stupid thing, and you got in my very short eye line, and now I know what you look like. And now you're getting kicked out." And he was kicked out, and I was like, "Ha! You could have stood anywhere else, and I would not have seen you. But you looked the wolf in the mouth."
You wanted to be seen,
You
sir.
looked down
and
the
I have
tongue,
seen
that
you.
uvula, those are my eyes. Hi. I saw you.
I would look at people through the eye holes. So it was like the Beetlejuice thing if they did something like that. I remember a teenager tried to scare me and he was like, boo, and he's with his mom. So I looked at him through my eye holes and I just started clapping. And his mom was like, see, that's what you get.
Oh.
It's really always once they can see your eyes. Like if you have a mask or anything that obscures most of your face, people forget that you're like a person. But because I actually had my eyes fully out, people did like that was the first year people did not like really mess with me because I guess they were like, oh, it was my face. It just was enhanced. But I was like, don't come at me.
Enhance the natural
Don't come for my
beauty.
girls.
Yeah, there was one time where someone grabbed me and shook me. And so security got them, took them backstage, and I had to talk to them. So I took my head off, took the head off.
Traumatized.
I was just
Hold on a
like, how's it going? So I took the wolf head off, and I saw the shift in the guy's eyes, where he was like, "Oh, it's a person."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and
They
you
forget.
hurt me a little bit. What do you have to say? Huh?
There was when I was Freddie, there was a guy that came through that wasn't like he wasn't malicious because there were people that came through. There was a girl that came through and like was trying to hurt everybody. But there was a guy that came through and was just legitimately so excited. When I stood up to do my scare, he like aggressively slapped my stomach. I don't know why that was the thing, but he was like, "Yeah, Freddie." It was just like, it's like oh, okay. Weirdest response I've ever gotten to popping out. And I went on set and I was like, the homeboy touched me. It was weird. And security went and got him afterward. And not only did they tell him, they're like, you have to remember there's a person. They're like, you also know that was a girl in there, right? And apparently they told me he broke down crying because he was like, I didn't know. I was just so excited. I didn't mean to. And I was like, he's okay. But people just forget. They'll just forget that you never know who's under the mask. You don't know what to expect. So I think it really threw him. I guess I was like,
by the way, that was a girl.
what?
A Freddy as a girl? What?
Yeah. He really
One of
by that info.
That actually reminded me since we were in the Scare Zone 1 that took pictures with celebrities that came through, a group. It was like a group of the celebrities that were there, and one of them, she was just having a ball. She was just out with her friends, and she kind of just started pretending to like hug me and just kind of like dance on me and stuff. And
I remember this. Okay.
I was like, cool.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, all right, because I liked her as a person. Like I think she was really cool. At one point, we're just standing there for a second, waiting to take more pictures, and she's like, "Wait, are you a guy or a girl?" And I just go, "Great character for a second." I was like, "I'm a girl," and she just went, "Oh shit!" She's like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry."
They do put a lot of guys in dresses, so I mean,
I know
it really could have gone either way for her.
It's just because we're so
In
big.
person.
No one expects us to be so big. Girls can be
I know,
tall
we're
too.
all tall. Anybody who doesn't know us, we're all tall ladies. Okay,
We are tall.
so
That's why we were hired to be the wolves, because we are very feminine figured, but tall and intimidating at the same time.
large.
And I'm pretty sure I put that on my OK Cupid when I met my boyfriend. No, I'm just kidding. I did not.
I won him over.
Perfect.
I'm feminine figured,
Perfect.
but tall and intimidating. You want me?
Yeah,
I am a
That's up to
wolf.
you.
Hi. Okay, so we have about 10 more minutes left before I have to give Kim what's going on and make sure tech is on my side today. We'll see.
Boo.
So, any other fun stories from scaring? It doesn't have to be from the Wolf Girl days, but it can be. Whatever fun stories you got. Favorite scares, favorite reactions, any advice you want to give? Scarers, wannabe scarers?
Oh.
Two fun stories, scare stories, on both coasts. So Wolf Sister, it was this group of teenagers that were walking towards, the front of the park into our scare zone. And this one girl, she was just like turned around, not paying attention. She's like talking to somebody behind her. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. So I start getting ready. I start crouching down. As I'm crouching down, her friends see what's going on. She starts turning around. And the guys, I don't know if the guys who were doing the fire were watching, but all of a sudden the archway just went off. So I'm just completely illuminated, like crouched on the ground, ready to attack. She screams bloody murder, jumps and starts running, and her friends are just dying on the floor. And it was like the greatest scare.
Always dudes that get scared more than you expect.
It was hilarious. And then this wasn't like super scared, but when I was in Orlando, I was doing.
Oops, Kim's already on.
Oh, hey Kim.
Hi,
Hey girl.
Kim. Your time's not yet. I'm sorry.
But good to know that you're here.
Kim's early. Hi. Oh, no, there she goes. Okay.
Hi, Kim.
That's funny. Because normally for the first interview, like with you, Skye, I would go on the personal profile and then I'll save the general for the second one. Because if I go on another personal right after, it has this weird loading screen go on. So like that's what I would do. So I told her like when it's 9:15, and I did tell her like get there early because I wasn't expecting for us to be using this. So don't worry. If Kim wants to hop in early, that's fine too. Like it's just a bunch of chill time. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. Okay. I was in the Alice in Wonderland house, and I was the Red Queen sitting on the throne. So I just would go with the loop and just say the things, and people would come in and they'd be so distracted. They're like, "Oh, that's so cool." They didn't see the dudes that had these skeletal glow-in-the-dark outfits on the sidelines, but they had black covering, so they'd go like this, and then they just hop out at everybody, and people would be so focused on me that they wouldn't realize, and then all of a sudden they just get in their face and they're like, "Whoa!" So it was just the greatest to just be the distraction for a second.
I love being the distraction. If I know the scare is going to be good, I like being the distraction. My first year scaring for Halloween Horror Nights, I was technically a distraction because I was on stage. I was Grindstone Kill. Jason was grinding my face. And there was supposed to be a pop-out scare from behind them, but it never really worked out that way, and people didn't know there was a person there, so they were just kind of creeped out by what was going on with me. But I love being distraction. I think that's awesome.
It's super fun.
Yeah. Skye, how about you? Any other fun, memorable scares you'd like to tell?
I enjoyed, it's not a haunt scare, but when I was doing Delusion, the most recent one, we did this amazing show called The Blue Blade, and it was this time traveling adventure where you started like in present day, you went to like the 1940s, you went back to like the ancient times in like a Mayan cave. If you haven't ever checked out Delusion, do it. We'll probably do a show next year, and it's incredible. My dog is hollering for some reason. But at the beginning, there's usually like, some sort of intro that kind of tells you where you are, what's going on. So I was the intro girl most days. Some days I was this like time wraith that like chased you and made this awful sound. It was great. But I had to basically gather like a group together, go up and just whisper surreptitiously in some stranger's ear, be like, "Meet me at the gate in 5 minutes," and then run to the gate, like throw a bag at him, run to the gate, go out to this like very sus looking van, fling open the doors, and when they came in, I had to like hustle them into the van, slam the doors, and then go and like play the intro. And it was attached to like a nightclub, so they would have like goth night, burlesque night. They'd be having like actual events, so people would just be out on the street watching me at least about, I think we would do about 12 to 15 shows a night, so 12 to 15 times throughout the night, shoveling strangers into this van, throwing them in there, slamming the doors, looking around all like sus, talking on my walkie like, "They're in the van, I'm gonna start them, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be great." Like trying to like count down to like 3, 2, 1, playing the video now, going around, hopping in, and then all of a sudden these like people just emerge and follow this character and like go off and like start their journey. And so people were like, "Is there a drug deal going on? Like, what is it about this van?" I had so many strangers like join my group and hop in my van, and I get in there and I'd be like, "Who are you?" Like some goth was like, "Hi," and I was like, "This is a paid event. You can't just jump in here." People thought I was like dealing out some like nice drugs in the back of this van. People kept trying to come up to me and talk to me, and I was like, "No, it's a part of it. You have to go buy a ticket. It's not real. Just leave me alone." That was hilarious, which I very much enjoyed. And then I did see that someone was like, "Any advice?" I would just say, "It is what do y'all remember this? It is a marathon, not a sprint. Remember,
for sure, 100%.
Long night. If it's just one night, if it's a long-term event, please remember that do not give all that you got in like your first 5 minutes and your first couple scares.
You're gonna regret it.
You're
gonna regret it so hard. You're gonna burn out. It's not gonna be worth it. You have to remember that it is a long haul. The night's gonna seem so much longer than you think. It could be a couple of hours, and it could feel like an eternity. Especially if you're doing the same scare over and over and over. It's just pace yourself, drink water, eat healthy,
Yes, I didn't, but yes, eat healthy.
I would try to eat healthy. I would try
I
to
was
have
like, where's
a
the extra
salad a night,
Cajun seasoning for my fries? Like,
yeah, when I did
Sometimes
Delusion at the last place, because it had this eatery attached to it, so I'd just be chowing down on like chicken wings and then go out and try to do my scene, and I was like, I'm just tired, like hoisting my body around this giant place that he built like the sets in. So take care of yourself.
definitely
That's all
take
I'd
care of
say.
yourself.
Bring some Advil and stuff, water.
Advil, some icy hot, maybe.
Powder.
Compression socks, or get wrapped by a professional who knows how to wrap.
Those are good.
Those
Or baby powder, because those chafe after a while.
Oh, what would you guys? I mean, we're already kind of talking about it, but I'm very curious to know what you guys think of like having a scare actor kit that you would bring every night. Like, what are your go-tos? You have to have this with you every time you scare.
I support that 100%. I will say I do see a lot of scare actors drinking like energy drinks throughout the night and burning out, and I would say please don't include that. Like, you're gonna have like a scare actor kit, probably bring some wraps for yourself unless you're like at a place where they can do it for you, because injuries happen. They will happen. Okay? You will either injure yourself, somebody will injure you, might have an accident with another scare actor. Be careful out there. So take some Advil, take some wraps, get some water, vitamin water, or something that has like electrolyte in it, because you're gonna be sweating regardless of what costume you're going to be sweating. So electrolytes, you need to replenish that. And then, like, I would say, like, nuts, a protein bar, something that has that kind of protein. If you can't get, like, actual food, because actual food, you feel sluggish, you get heavy, you don't want that. So, like, something that you can, like, munch on throughout the night, help with fruits.
Yeah, like trail mix, pretzels, and nuts.
Yeah. Personally, pine orchids, I love those.
Sorry, what did you say? You cut out a little bit.
Like clementine orchids.
Yes,
I love those.
Oh, yeah.
They're great. And also, I know it's like for children, but they have those squeezed apple sauces.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something, okay?
Yes.
I can get through a night on those squeezed apple sauces. Get yourself some nice, like, yummy snacks. I would have a large kit, though. My kid would probably be more like a double. More than like an actual like small kit.
Well, a kit could come in all sizes. It could be a duffel bag. It could be a little plastic baggie. It depends on what you need, really, and like what character you have.
I had a suitcase.
Huh?
I had a suitcase, so I was like, oh, and bring some pajamas or a onesie or like sweats and a t-shirt, because at the end of the night, you're dead, and nothing's worse than sweating all day and putting your jeans. Like,
yeah, dress comfortably before getting into costume, because once you get out of costume, all you want is something like nice and snuggly and like soft, and at least that's for me. Like we definitely had onesies. Skye started us on the onesie gang. Like,
yes, I did.
We would bring different onesies every night.
Cannot recommend a onesie enough. I got a new one from like the movie that I was filming. Got a new onesie, and let me tell you, I was so excited. I was like, if Horror Nights happens, this is going to be the onesie of the season. And then it didn't happen, so that was but I will have it for next time. I will wear it somewhere.
The Wolf Girls gotta come back. We gotta all go up to Scott the way we go up to Kelly and be like, Scott, and like cast us together again. Kelly. Oh my god. But let's see, what else? In my kit, I always have Band-Aids because you never know what's going to happen. I have sports tape, which is when I was wearing the wolf mask, it chafed my nose so bad it would bleed every night. So I started putting tape on my nose to help prevent that, and it helped a lot. So now I have the tape, wraps, compression socks, Advil or Tylenol, depending on if I have a headache or if it's like a physical injury, icy hot, or Tiger Balm. And then snacks galore. I would bring my own powdered Gatorade to mix with my water bottle and just keep refilling the water, because your supervisor, like your haunt, might supply some things, or it might run out, or they just might not in general. So always bring your own stuff, just in case.
Those tablets, and I think I became friends with a lot more people because they were like, hey, do you have any more of those new electrolyte tablets? And I was like, yes, I do.
Oh. Mama Wolf, got your back.
It's like Mary Poppins in here.
Who wants the tablet? Oh my god. And our time is almost up, but I do want to say, Mackenzie, remember when we would have our own little competitions and try and one-up each other?
Oh my gosh.
Listen, you always like one-upped in general, because there was one night that I had to take over the opening ceremony. You did the like wolf howl, and I had to take over that, and I was like, listen, I cannot hustle and howl at the same time. Like, what is
I forgot that
so
there
I
was
gave
one
you
night I wasn't there because my grandma unfortunately passed away and I had to go to her funeral, so there was one night that I wasn't there for the ceremony. I forgot about that. Yeah, it was tough. If anyone wants to look it up, it's like opening ceremony 2018 Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood. I'm the wolf in the blue. Mackenzie's the wolf in red, just to give context. I will say two things about the opening ceremony. Yes, Skye is the one that opens it entirely up. She's the one in the cape at the beginning. So,
Shout out to Nick for being beat up by me every night.
Oh, Nick was a trooper. And I'll say this, two things.
There was a time when I got to like throw him over my shoulder, and I was like, keep that.
Yeah, he didn't even want to wear that brace in the back to help. He was like, no, I got this. But they were like,
we're not going to give him a stunt bump, and so we like cut it.
Yeah, someone cut it so we couldn't flip him, unfortunately. But
that already changed so much.
Those claws were so hard to handle for me personally. So when he was flung into me, I had to shake him. I'm like, Nick, you gotta do everything because I can't even see right now and I can't like grip you. So all I did was like just like gently place.
Like, touch his face, and it was just like
no. I'm pretty sure I gave him like the most gentle caressing of a slap ever, because it was those fingers. It was like so much space. So I'm like, pretty sure the video, if anybody finds it, they just see me going.
It's hilarious. It's just the claws.
It's just like the most majestic slow-mo slap. And then he's like, so, he goes with it and he just whips his head and I'm like, dude, it does not matter.
That is fine because he's like flinging each side and I'm just like, ding, 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 ding. There you go.
Because our fingers would like just bend.
The claws would bend. It's just like, we can't work with the claws. I'm sorry. And then I would have to look like I'm in, like, getting really antsy, waiting for my cue, and then I have to run up next to Sam, and then I had to do, like, a jump just to make sure I'm balanced, and then roar to the sky, and then we charge the crowd, and there was a couple nights where I almost fell flat on my face doing that, because I was like, and I'm wobbly. I should not be wobbly. Oh, I hope no one notices I'm so effing wobbly right now. And then, okay, the roar's done.
At least your teeth didn't fall out like dentures, okay? Both of them would just pop out, and we'd be running, and I would just hear Nick like, was that your teeth? Like, running, holding them like, shit! Like,
oh my god. Well, I would love to do this another night, just us. It is Kim's time now, so I have to make sure that she's on and ready to go. If you are in the live stream, don't go anywhere. I have another scare actor that I will interview for the next hour, so if you have more questions, we have another scare actor who can answer this. But just so you all know, this has been Mackenzie and Skye. They are my wolf sisters, 2 of the 3 wolf sisters I got. And Mackenzie was just kind of thrown in there, so thank you so much for being here today.
I was.
I told her, I was like, watch tonight.
I was like, why are you watching? Talk to me! It's been forever!
Ever!
It's been so long. But we definitely need to get together again soon, not in person, obviously, because the mess. But we also need to talk to Aubrey because she got engaged like a little
got
while
engaged.
ago, and we still need to have our little engagement wolf party for her. So
yes, I was gonna do like socially distanced shots delivered. I was like,
just mail a bunch of wine and go. You're not pregnant yet, right? Okay, well here you go. Here's a bunch of wine. Aubrey seems sus. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just saying wine because I would like some right now, and October is my dry month until Halloween, so...
I'm dead. You have a dry month.
I am trying to be healthy. It's not working. My mom gave me so much candy for Halloween. I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. It was like 3 of the largest bags of like the fruity stuff, and then like a bunch of bags of like little chocolate stuff. And then I had the idea, I don't know why, to go shopping, and then I saw all the Halloween candy and went, I don't have enough chocolate. And I bought more.
You can never have enough chocolate, though.
So I'm trying to be healthy with all the candy by saying at least I'll cut out alcohol for now. It's fine.
Or you could put the candy in the alcohol.
Ooh.
Mackenzie, I love the way your mind works. I'm gonna put like a Three Musketeers bar into my wine, pour it for my boyfriend, and go, "Are you getting a hint of any chocolate? Because I'm getting hints of chocolate. Maybe some black currant. I don't know, but definitely chocolate." Oh, that's weird. It doesn't say chocolate on the bottle. Oh no. Okay, I'm definitely in Kim's time now, so unfortunately I do have to get going, but hopefully we could all get together again for another interview, because an hour is not enough for all of us talking.
Mine, technically, so.
Right. Would either of you like to plug any social media handles or projects before you go?
Mackenzie?
And most of mine are private, and I'm like never on there, so.
Fair enough.
She's fun. My Instagram is Skye Danielle, but on the 30th, I'm going to be a part of this creature feature for this thing called Beauty of Burlesque, beautyofburlesque.com. It's this big, awesome burlesque show. There's going to be a drive-in event and a virtual one, so check that out. It's going to be really fun, and like you're looking for something to do right before Halloween. Why not watch people undress to sexy music?
Hey!
I'm down. I know Sarah's been working on that, right? That's her project.
Yeah, I am not a burlesque performer. So for anybody watching this, no, I am like a voodoo priestess who dances in the background. But there's a lot of really amazing burlesque performances. So
there's
tune in for that.
I'll plug her too. Why not? Pinup Palmer. She's awesome.
She's incredible.
Is she a fellow Scareactor? Because I never actually scared with her, but I know she worked.
She did go-go.
Oh,
she was a go-go dancer.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so we like worked the event, but not like personally, but I do know her. So she's in Beauty of Burlesque, and she has all the information. So if you want more information on Beauty of Burlesque, it's all on Pinup Palmer's Instagram, because I saw that Skye is in it. So be sure to tune in on October 30th. If I had money and time, I might be able to. So no promises, but I will try my best because my friends are in it. Yay! All right, thank you so much, Mackenzie and Skye. I am gonna put us in an intermission while I switch over to Kim. So don't go anywhere. More Scareactor Stories is coming up.
Yay!
And we're back.
And we're here. And we're doing things.
We're doing awesome things. We're doing great things. Stupendous. So, for those just joining the live stream, hi, I'm Noelle, also known as Charge and Die. I tell Scareactor Stories on TikTok and Instagram. Now I am interviewing fellow scare actors so that they could tell their stories here on YouTube. So thank you for being here. Today I have my friend Kim. Kim, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. My name is Kim. I first started scare acting quite a while ago, actually. Like, I think in 2009, I think was my first year. And then I took a break for a long time. And then where I've been scaring currently, I've been there for 3 years. And I don't know if anyone's done this before, like, or has said this before, but I don't feel like I don't want to name where I currently scare.
That's fine.
Yeah, just because I would love to like be a supervisor there in the future, and so I'm a little paranoid. So, but I'm sure there will be so many context clues in what I'm about to say that people will figure it out. But I just won't be saying it. I'm not going to say it like outright.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Be as vague as you want, and if I ask anything that's too specific, just let me know. Plead the fifth, and we'll move on. It's fine.
Yeah, but I have worked at other haunts that I have no problem naming. So I have worked at Fright Fest at Six Flags, and I have worked at a haunt that's out in Thousand Oaks called Reign of Terror. So I have worked at those two as well. So I don't have any problem naming those.
Well, tell us about those, because I've never been to Fright Fest, so I don't know even what it has and what's it like being a scare actor there, because it's like it's a different kind of theme park setting and different people and what's it like?
Yeah, so I grew up in Santa Clarita where Six Flags is, and so it was like if you wanted a summer job and you were a teen, that's where you went with Six Flags. So I had worked there in the summer, and then I had done performing like in high school and in junior college, and they were having a Halloween thing, and I was like, okay, I'll go audition. And so this was back in like 2009 when I first started doing it. And it's not bad. It's just different. Whereas like where I scare now, we have like maybe 2 or 3 people playing the same part. You have a double. Like I was the only person playing my role. I had to wear a watch so that I knew when to take my breaks. No one would come and get me if I missed it. Oh, well. Yeah. It was like, I don't know, ask me like some specifics, because it's hard to like kind of pull them just out.
Sure.
Of nowhere.
Were you assigned roles, or were you able to kind of create your character and have creative influence on it in some ways?
So I was given a role, and I played the role the whole time. However, I definitely felt like I had some creative freedom in the role. So I was in a maze called Brutal Planet, I think it was called. And so it was essentially just this maze that was a hodgepodge of different horror themes. So there was like an asylum section and like a spooky bog section, and then so the section that I was in was Hotel Hell, so like an evil hotel. And my role was called Bed Girl, because what the role was previously was you literally lay in a bed, pretend to be a mannequin, and then you pop up, and that's it. And the role was so well known that when I told people in the maze that I was Bed Girl, they were like, oh, yeah. Because they were kind of like knots in that I think they would kind of set up the same mazes multiple years in a row. But what they neglected to share with me was, instead of that being the scare, what they had decided to do was take the bed, flip it upside down, and hang it from the ceiling. And then so I was just literally in a corner, and the bed was like up over here across from me. And then there was a piece of fishing line that went from the bed through like an eye hole, like in the side of the wall, and then down next to me. So the theory was that I would pull the string, the bed would move, and then people would look at the bed, but not at me, even though I am in an empty room and I am the only thing in the room.
Oh, that's rough.
I was literally the only thing in the room. And so people would come around the corner, and instead of looking up at the bed, they would immediately turn and go like this.
Right.
And I've never done this. I'm like 17. And so I was like, okay, I have to figure out how to make this work, because this is not working. Like the people were coming, like the supervisors were coming through, and like they were just kind of like, they're like, okay, they know it's okay, but try to be more creative. I was like,
give me something to work with.
Okay.
Come on.
So what I ended up, and of course we had like the little cans with like the dried beans or corn or whatever.
Making sound.
And yeah. So I was like, okay, I have to try to be fake, but I can't stand up. Like, I feel like I'm too tall. So I said, people are scared of short things, right? So I started kneeling on the ground. And so the costume was a black wig with curlers in it. And then a nightgown with like fake vomit down the front. That was the costume.
Gross.
Ooh. And then the makeup was like, the way they did makeup was like assembly line style. So it was just like that, like airbrush alcohol.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
So they would do like a layer of black and then a layer of white, and then you would be good to go. So I was like, okay. So I ended up kneeling on the ground in the corner because the nightgown was long enough to where it didn't look like I had feet if I kneeled on the ground.
Okay.
And then I would just back myself into the corner because there were like dolls and stuff like on shelves. And then I just kind of like put my hands up in the corner and just kind of like that. And I just kind of sat there. And then I would just like lunge at people from my knees in the corner and go for their feet because people don't like that. So that was fun. And they like, I just did it and they were like, I didn't hear yay or nay. And I was like, all right, this must be good. So the only thing was because I was kneeling on concrete, I had the biggest bruises on my knees.
Did you ever get knee pads?
I did. So because I was like, am I allowed to ask for things? Which is one thing I would tell people who are like new to scaring is just like shoot your shot and ask for something if you need it to do your job, because 99 times out of 100 they will give it to you. And the cool thing about when I asked for knee pads is that they gave me slider knee pads. And then on Halloween, when no one was at the park, they let us all switch rooms in the maze. So I was in my nightgown and curlers, was sliding around all over the place. I was just like, what's good? A thing there is like where I scare now, when you have a scare, usually there's some kind of trigger to assist you with the scare to make noise or light or whatever. Right. At Six Flags, they don't have that. So I had to yell, which was a big difference when moving to where I scare now and they had the triggers. I was just like, oh my God, yes, I don't have to yell. This is amazing. Yes, especially because I was doing like a choir show at the time and I lost my voice like at least twice.
Oh, that sucks.
So yeah. So I mean, but it was a lot of fun still. And I was 17 and didn't care. So it wasn't like
you could heal real quick at that age. It's fine.
Yeah, I was like, look at my bruises, man. I was like all excited.
Did you have other friends who did scare acting? Like, did people understand what you were doing and were for it, or were they like kind of confused? Like, what the hell is scare acting?
They were pretty confused.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like go with a buddy like to audition. I was just like, it's really interesting. I don't know where the flip came in, because I remember even after I did Fright Fest, like I did not like getting scared. I didn't like scary movies. I don't know when the flip happened, where I was just like super into it. I think it was just like, I just wanted to do like an acting job or performance job, and this was like, I had heard it was really easy because it was Six Flags. It might be a little bit different now. Again, it's been a long time since I've auditioned for them.
Different over the years and has its different pros and cons, with everything else.
But it's not like where I scare now, where there's like a union and you take a lot of breaks. It's literally just like a normal shift. So you have 30 for lunch and 2 15-minute breaks. And that was it. And you had to walk to and from the cafeteria with like, they didn't give you anything to cover up. You just kind of walk through and hope no one messes with you. But like, you're not supposed to like scare them like on your way to get food. Yeah, it was really fun though. I think it was like a good first like foray into it. And then as far as Reign of Terror's, if you guys have never gone to Reign of Terror, I highly, highly recommend it, because it is a way different haunt than really anything. Number one, it's not at a theme park, so that's different, really different. But it's literally in a shopping center in Thousand Oaks, but it's as if you took all of the mazes at one theme park and you hooked them all together. So it takes about 25 minutes to walk through the whole thing.
Oh, so it's like just all one walkthrough,
Mm-hmm.
but like different rooms and stuff that you go through. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. And it's like, it's really well done. Like I've met the owners are super nice and they're just really, really passionate about it. They sadly, of course, couldn't open this year because of everything that's going on.
The mess.
The what?
The mess. I call it the mess.
The mess.
Like, YouTube is a stickler for those kind of things. It's
YouTube is a stickler. I watch a lot of content creators with. I watch this one channel called Game Grumps.
I love Game Grumps.
Yes, and the Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
Yes, that's what it is. And it's funny because I actually went to the concert.
Yeah, I've been to a concert. I went to a concert of theirs in Vegas. So it's just like, did you go when did they actually start to tour? Or do you went in Vegas too?
It was in Vegas. Yeah, so it was.
Yeah, I went to that one too. It was
2018.
Yeah, it was like a couple years ago.
It was a couple years ago. Hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
Aspenstein 22. Thank you for the TikToks. I got some gifts in my live stream, so thank you.
Oh, we love gifts.
We love gifts. Thank you.
We sure do.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not checking the TikTok live as much, you guys, because I'm focused on YouTube and the chat in YouTube. So if you're in my TikTok live, please hop over to YouTube and join the party over here. Just saying. Just saying. But yeah, so Fright Fest, and what's the other one in Thousand Oaks called?
It's called Reign of Terror.
Reign of Terror. Are they having it this year? Because the mess.
No. So what they tried to do, they had to move locations from last year to this year. So I mean, I really wish they would have opened because it would have helped them like a lot because they had to recently move. But what they tried to do was open it up and just have people walk through it. Because another thing that's unique about it is there's a lot of effects in it. So like there's a lot of animatronics, for lack of a better word. So I mean, if you were to walk through it with no actors, you'd still get a couple of scares walking through it. Yeah, so that's another thing that I think makes them super unique is that there's a lot of just practical effects that are just on triggers and they're really effective. And I think it's really awesome. I love that it was built like from the ground up. I haven't worked for them for a full season, but they opened up for the holidays last year.
Okay.
And a friend of mine works for them, and then she told the owner that I did scare acting somewhere else, and then so they invited me to just be a part of it for a night. Like I didn't have to audition. I felt really special.
VIP Kim.
That's so right. So I was like some dirty elf in like their hillbilly section.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and it was interesting because I'm so used to where I am now where it's like you have the triggers and you have like if you're in a hide that you have no visibility, there's a camera to help you see. I didn't have any of that. We're so spoiled. Right, so at Reign of Terror, I mean, granted, their event is only open for about 4 hours, but they don't, and this sounds bad, but it's not, like, they don't get a break per se. So, but it's really great because when you show up, like, the owners provide a meal for everybody. Like, every night, they all get fed dinner. And then once they go on set, they are on set for the 4 hours until they have these people called chasers that come around and they're like, hey, do you have to go to the bathroom? Do you need water? And then they will cover for you for maybe 10 minutes. And then you go to the bathroom or you drink water. And one of the tips that the people were telling me, they were like, when they come to you, it doesn't matter if you have to go pee or you don't have to go pee, you need to go because remember, the maze is really long. And so by the time they may not even make it back to you a second time.
Right.
So, but I was in a cabinet and I was literally had to pop out and like, just, I could say whatever I wanted. And because we were in like a hillbilly, like, cannibal type area, my trigger was, or like the thing that would cue me to that people were standing there was like, I had a dog animatronic that would like come out and start barking. And so I would like throw the door open and be like, yeah, get him, boy, get him. And just laugh and then close the door. So it was really fun to just being able to say, or like I would yell ahead to my friend who was in the room in front of me. I'd be like, "Yeah, Mama, I got fresh meat for you." Just whatever.
Ooh,
And
sets it up so well.
yeah.
I love it.
But I had like 3 water bottles of water in there with me. I had like lozenges because I was yelling technically.
For
the thing
future
that
reference, though, I will not recommend using throat lozenges because the effect of it is that it numbs your voice. It doesn't heal anything, so you could potentially hurt yourself more taking them.
I should clarify, they're not like menthol. They're like just the ones that moisten. Sorry
so
for those who are triggered by that word.
Honey lemon.
Yeah, like fruit breezers.
Okay, gotcha. So for everyone else listening, though, I will recommend if you are using your voice, do not use those really harsh throat lozenges because
menthol will dry you out real bad.
Menthol will dry you out and it will numb you, which will relieve the pain temporarily if like you're coughing a lot and using your voice a lot, but you could also potentially damage your voice more because you can't feel the pain. Stop yourself. So just food for thought. Also, William goes, Kim! Hi, Kim.
Hi, William! It's me.
It's Kim.
It's me.
James W. goes, the word fresh meat should never be used. It is overused. Like I said, Jolly Ranchers? Oh, Jolly Ranchers for...
Oh, yeah. I think I also had, like, Lifesavers in there, too.
Yeah.
Just something to, like, get your saliva going.
Just to help lubricate.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But yeah, fresh meat is overused, but I think if it's in the right context and the character would say it, it's okay. It just doesn't make sense if you're like this big ghost character and you're like, fresh meat, like, that doesn't make sense. But if it's in context of character, I don't mind it so much. I don't like the get out. I don't like run because that triggers them to actually run and potentially hurt themselves or others. So I'm like a hard no for the get out and run unless like you're a face character and they say that in the movie or something. Like
I mean I was in the role for a night and I did my best. Also, because I'm so spoiled with not being so spoiled and having like the triggers and stuff, I'm not used to having to create my own dialogue. So I was just like there were times I popped out of that cabinet and I literally barked at people. Because why not?
I love that.
Why not? There was a dog right there, and so they see that barking, and then they see me barking, and then they laugh, and we have a good time. And that's my goal.
Always have a good time. If you can't scare them, then make them laugh.
Absolutely, every single time.
Feeling an emotion.
That's right. We like emotions here. Just positive ones.
Don't be scared of your emotions, guys.
No.
We just want to scare. So you explained a little bit of how you got into scaring. You said that you don't know when the switch happened of like not liking horror stuff into being passionate. Would you say you're passionate about horror stuff now, or are you still like, I mean, I scare, but you like it?
No, yeah, I'm real into it. Like I watch this to go to bed. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't seen it. I want to.
It's real good.
I started watching American Horror Story with my boyfriend. I said this in the previous interview, so in the live stream, if you heard this already, I'm sorry, but Kim has it, so I'm going to catch her up. I've been watching American Horror Story. I just saw the first few episodes of the first season, so no spoilers. But my boyfriend has seen a few seasons of it, and he is rewatching it as I'm watching it for the first time. So I started getting really into it. Like, we started watching it at like midnight at night, and he still needed to drive home, and he lives like over an hour away. So we watched like 2 episodes. I was like, I know you need to go. I know you're tired, but can we watch one more? And we ended up watching like 3 more episodes. It was like 3 a.m. He's like, I'm sorry, love, I gotta go to bed. I gotta go home. Like, but it's a part 2 now. You can't leave me on a part 2. And he's like,
you can't leave me on a cliffhanger.
So he left me on a cliffhanger. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I was asking him, like, when are we going to continue watching? Because I asked him, like, is it okay if I watch the show without you? Because I want to know what happens. I'm super into the show now. I didn't think I was going to be so into it, but everyone was saying, you like scary stuff, right? Watch American Horror Story. And especially because I worked the maze at Halloween Horror Nights one year, so I wanted context of it. It was a different season, granted, of course, and they're different every season, but I want to get started on that. I'm not doing anything else in my life right now, you know? Like, I might as well watch a bunch of movies and TV shows, catch up a bit. So I asked him, can I please watch this without you? And he's like, I'd prefer if you didn't, because I'm having a lot of fun rewatching it with you, and I want to see it with you. So, unfortunately, this is going to be one of those shows that we have to see together. I'm like, no.
I mean, I have to say, part of the fun of one of my favorite things about watching horror stuff and scary stuff is watching it again with someone who's never seen it.
Yes.
Because it's essentially, I'm scaring someone without having to do anything. Mm-hmm. So I get like to see someone get scared and I have to be like, but I didn't have to do anything.
It's like you scared them by proxy.
Yeah. I just sit there and I'm just like, you're gonna watch this part.
Yes.
I know. They're like, what are you doing? And I'm just like, I'm watching.
I'm watching. No, you're not watching the movie. You're watching me. I know. I didn't specify. I just said I'm watching.
I mean, you're in for a good time for those first 2 seasons. They're really good.
Yeah, that's what I heard. And I already saw someone, not that I know personally, but I know, but they're not like A-list actor. And I was like, I wasn't expecting to see that person. Like, okay. All right.
I love seeing my friends on TV randomly. I'm like, I went to college with that person.
It was so funny to see a show. We're a little off topic, but I'll bring us back in a second. But I would see like a show and just see literally the side of a friend's face for like a split second and then never see them throughout the whole show ever again. And I would message them and be like, I saw you! Your face flashed by half a second. They were like, oh yeah, I worked background like half a day. I didn't think anyone would see me. I'm like, I did! I saw you.
My favorite thing about working background for the short time that I did it was I was in an episode of Grey's Anatomy. And I'm literally the first shot of the episode, like just the whole side of my face. And I told like one of my cousins in Tennessee and they thought it was just the coolest thing. And I'm just like, that happened maybe 6 years ago, but I'm glad that you're excited. Anyway.
Yes. Back to scare acting, not just acting. Acting could be its own separate interview. We really wanted to, because we're in the action, you know. We actually do act. We go on shows and stuff like that. So, but scare acting is more interesting, especially this time of year. So, what are some of your? I know I need to decorate. Well, I'm moving, so I can't really decorate right now. But
that's fair.
Yeah, it's good timing, but bad timing at the same time, where it's like, I wanted to enjoy the Halloween season the way I know best, which is usually scaring, but with the mess and everything, I can't. So originally the plan was to do these interviews. Of course, I'm glad I could still do these, but also I wanted to live stream doing my traditions, like carving pumpkins and making caramel apples, all that fun stuff. I'm worried I won't have time for that because I'm in the middle of a move and I have a lot of stuff to still move.
Yeah.
So
moving's a whole thing, man.
It's
I started using movers like 2 years ago, and it's like for like $300 well spent.
I know I do not have money though, which is why I'm moving. You know, I'm moving to a cheaper place, but I'm moving in with my boyfriend so that we could both save money, and you know we've been dating long enough, so why not? So yay!
And no hour commute, so that's good.
Yeah, and I could watch my frickin' show. That's the main purpose of this move.
That is the only reason, and it's a valid one.
It is. I need to watch my shows, and if the thing holding me back is the fact that my boyfriend's not there with me, well then, solve that problem. Knock, knock, I'm your roommate now. You're welcome.
That's right.
I'm wonderful.
Love
me.
I'm a gift. I'm a gift. You're welcome.
Oh, I would love to do a Christmas haunt. Like, I want to make my own. I want to make a Christmas haunt. And I know...
It was really fun.
Yeah, it sounds like fun. I want to create my own little elf character. Like, I want to go all out. If you could be any character, you could just make it up, be creative, or it could be a face character, whatever. Any scare character, what would you be and why?
What would I be? Any character. I'd like to try to be any kind of male character.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I feel like anyone who's had a taste of a scare zone or any kind of street wants a taste of that chainsaw.
I was just in another interview. I wanted to do chainsaw this year. Didn't happen, but go on.
Just to like see I just want to try it. Like I've never even gotten to like have training or anything, and I would love to just go to the training and just see what it's all about. Yeah, I mean, I know that like, I mean, I'm not super tall. I'm like 5'7", and I'm not super muscular, so I know that I don't look masculine. But I'd love to see if I could like pass off as a guy character. Obviously, not like Michael Myers, who's gigantic, but like a Freddy maybe or something like that.
Yeah, you
But
could
I
do
get
that. I don't see why not.
right,
Yeah.
skinny, scrawny little guy with attitude. I could do that.
Oh, and you would have so much fun with that glove,
Yeah.
that claw.
Oh man,
jeez.
dude, I feel like I had the freaking equivalent of that last year. I know you weren't there last year, but I had these lace gloves that had these long white nails on the end. Remember when they were laced, which was a problem. However, they survived by some miracle through the whole run. But that was really cool. Like, just I didn't have to do a whole lot. My mask was super scary, and I literally just had to go like this and just. That's all it took, really. Or like going like that. That's all you gotta do.
Just, oh, thanks.
Yeah. Oh, people loved. They would always be like, I would go for them, and then they do. You know that they the people that try to start a conversation because they're uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. They're just like, oh, I love your nails. Where did you get them done? Oh. And then I would play with my wig, like the hair on my wig, and then I would like show them, and then they'd come close, and I'd like go like that.
I love the little switch is essentially a jump scare. It's a great tactic.
Yeah.
What is some advice you would give to new scare actors?
I wrote it down so that I wouldn't forget.
Good.
Because my memory is terrible. And I know that a lot of my scare actor stuff only gets jogged when I'm like talking about it. So I think I listened to the interview you did with Bubba, and like I was literally just like writing down as I was listening. So I was like, oh yeah.
Great idea.
Oh yeah. Okay. Let's see. Those are like my favorite times. I mean, one big one is like I think you've talked about this already, but it's just like when you're first getting started and you go and you try to scare somebody and it doesn't land. It's fine. Like, don't get discouraged if your scare doesn't land, because they're gonna forget about you in like 10 seconds when they go and they walk through into the next room. Like, and you have another opportunity in 10 seconds to try it again and scare it again. And you have so many opportunities to land that scare. And like, the first night is always the most awkward. It's always the hardest. And just don't get discouraged. Like, the amount of times I messed up and just had to literally laugh out loud at myself, like even in front of guests, I'm just like, all right. Like my first year I was a face character, so it's like when you have a mask on, you can hide a lot of this. So like when you mess up, you can make a stupid face and no one sees it. I was a face character my first year. Oh yeah, like I'll get to that in a second. But so I was a face character my first year, and I had like a prosthetic here, so it made me look really angry. But there was in our maze, there was like a laundry room scene, and the scare was we had to pop out behind like a sheet, and we had no monitor. We just had to like try to peek, and the amount of times that I stepped on that sheet and almost brought the whole party down, like, and just, or like fell to my knee and just had to like just stand up and back up. Like, just back up, and hopefully they laughed, and they're just like, hey, remember when that girl fell in the trying to scare us? It's just like,
you're just trying to create memories. You're just
that's
going
right.
a different way with it. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah. What else did I take notes? And one thing they'll tell you too when you're training, at least at where I work now, it's like if you are on a break and you walk through a maze and you see your double doing something, or you see another character doing something and you're like, oh, I want to try that. Don't be afraid to try it. Like, don't feel like you're copying, because like you learn from each other. Absolutely. Like, I would just say, use that as a starting off point for sure. If you're like lost of what to do, ask other characters. I mean, you have, sometimes where you're working, you'll have like a captain that will tell you like, what some tips or, you know, what you can do to be better or whatever. But ask your fellow scare actors. I mean, we're all so passionate about it that we will help you. Like, until we'll talk to you about it until we're blue in the face, clearly. So, I mean, I would just say, you know, don't be afraid to, like, copy each other and ask each other for help. Pacing, like, pace yourself, obviously. It doesn't take a lot to scare people.
Yeah, Skye was saying before, it is a marathon, not a sprint. Even if you're doing it for one night, you're probably doing it for at least a few hours. Don't wear yourself out the first few minutes, especially if it's months long and you're working like a few days every week.
Yeah.
You're going to hurt after those first couple of weeks, so be careful.
Right. And you don't have to, like, throw yourself at people. Like, they're already so heightened that it's not going to take a whole lot, especially if you've got a scary mask or you have a prop. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to scare somebody. Is it, like, especially if you go for someone who's obviously, you know, an easy target, you know, it's not going to take a whole lot.
Their face and their friend or something, and then you just go up and you stare at them. They're like, oh no.
Yeah. Also, don't be discouraged by the stupid things that people say to you. They all think they're really clever.
And we hear them all the time. I'm actually going to, like, write some of this down. Where did I put it? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm making a part 2 just to give you context.
Oh, yeah. For your TikTok, right? Of, like, the things that, like, the most common things that people say. The one thing that I get all the time, I see you. And I'm like, I'm standing literally right in front of you. I'm glad that you can see me, or else that would be an issue.
I'm going to call it the ego bruiser. So I have a list right now. I'm going to make a part 2 because I got so many requests for a part 2. And I was like, I got so many comments like, you missed this one. You missed this one. I'm like, guys, I only had 60 seconds. I want to do like the most common.
Yeah.
Okay. So the biggest one, which is I'm included in this one, is like the cusser. I'm calling it the sailor. So cussing. I don't know how I'm gonna do it in the TikTok because I don't want to actually swear, but I'm gonna whatever. But
is there any kind of bleep? Is there any bleeping on TikTok? Is there a bleeping function?
Not unless you like edit it in beforehand and make it like your original sound or something. But I'll just make up words and hopefully people will understand. But the one you just reminded me of that I'm gonna add, I'm just letting you know that this is happening, so I'm not stealing credit or something. I didn't add the insult one, which is a very common one, and we were just talking about it in the previous interview where someone was like, "You're not scary," so that's exactly what I'm gonna say. Is like, "You're not scary," but I'm gonna call it the ego bruiser of like,
Yeah.
But don't take it too personally because it could be a defense mechanism. Like when people get scared, they're just like, that didn't scare me out. You suck. You're horrible at your job. Your parents are so disappointed in you. And you're just like, I mean, ow, but also,
I usually just go. As for the past 2 years, I've been in scare zones, and every single year that I've worked at where I work now, I've had a dress on. So I've had a dress for 3 years straight. And so I'm usually a woman character. And so whenever I get insults like that, where they just like want to tell me off, I'm just like, me? You can't mean me. No. And I just like, I just walk away. Because it's like, you can't, little old me? You can't be me.
I always do the slow clap.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Slow clap, look me in the eyes. Understand I'm human. You tried your best. One of the things I would do is if someone like complimented me on a fear, which has happened, and I posted this in another TikTok where someone was like, ooh, girl, that dress looks cute on you. That's the wolf character in the blue dress. That has happened before, and my response to that was what you just did of like, but keep in mind, I had a wolf head on, there was no hair, and I had claws on, so it was like no hair was being brushed by, it was just a...
Yeah. Which made it just 10 times better.
We'll have fun with you if you're going through a maze and you're cool about it. Like, we will have fun with you, for sure.
Like, you can tell immediately if someone is feeling it or if they're a problem. Like, I can tell when someone's joking with me, and like I can joke back without like saying anything. Like, Like I was a masquerade character one time in a street, and like so many people would be like, dance with me. But then but you can tell when someone asks is like, oh my gosh, you're so cool. Come on, let's dance. And you're like, okay. And you just kind of, you have to like feel it out, and you can tell. It's really easy to tell the intention, especially seeing so many people. You're gonna get used to vetting people just like in an instant, like how they're gonna react. Yeah, it's really crazy. It's crazy how quick you pick up on it.
And I'll say, even though I've been scaring for a while now, even I get it wrong sometimes, where I think someone's cool and I improv with them, and then they end up like hurting me or something. I'm like, okay, I misread that one. Oopsie poopsie.
Definitely.
What have been some of your favorite reactions from people? Like some of your favorite scares, most creative?
It's really hard because a lot of the best reactions are when they are with swearing. Like, my mama didn't raise no, like just come into a room, they like kick the curtains out and they're just like, come on, my mama didn't raise no blood. I'm just like, oh my God. Just go, just get out. That was one of my favorite things about being a face character, was you could tell when I was just like, just go. Like, just
get the F
just
out.
Get
Come
out.
On. Oh, jeez.
I mean,
I wish I could
anytime
be a
when
face
people,
character. I've been in a mask the last 2 times I've been scaring for the season, and I'm not complaining. I love it because it's like minimal makeup. Just put on the head, get out there. It's got pros and cons to everything, but I couldn't see. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I had to like move my whole upper torso just to look around.
That wolf looked so cool, but oh man. I did not envy you, but you looked so dope.
Thank you. I felt dope.
You're
I didn't
welcome.
have to do anything. I don't know how many of my TikToks you've seen, because I've definitely told this story before, but and I've told it in another live stream before too, so apologies if you heard it already, but this is one of my favorite examples of how just the wolf itself did the work. I didn't have to do a whole lot. In order to turn around most of the time, I would keep to just where my body already is and do a full 180, because I don't know if people are going to be around me. I can't see anything. So the safest way is to turn in the space you already occupy. Don't bump into anybody.
Yes.
But
Good advice.
But in order to turn with intent, I would sniff the air first and then turn around as if I smelled somebody. Most of the time, there would be someone like right behind me, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, she sniffed me." But this particular moment, there was no one in my zone. I was at one end of the zone. There was like a wall of people coming this way into my zone. So I wanted to give as much space as possible so I could charge at them and just go right down the middle if I could. So I gave as much space, sniffed the air, turned around, and from 50 feet away, one of the guys in the front went, "Oh, she heard me!" and like backed between his friends. And to this day, I wish I knew what he said about me. Like, I didn't hear anything. I just got lucky with timing. I don't know.
Right.
Accidental scare.
I will say one of my favorite things to do is chase people.
Yeah.
And because I've had a dress, like a floor length dress, every time I've been in a scare zone, I literally have to like wind up, grab my skirt, and I just bolt down. And usually they're already running, and I'm just like, here we go. And like people are laughing as like I'm running by, and it's so funny. Or it's like usually in the scare zone that I'm in, because I've been in the same spot the last 2 years, is it's a street, but then there's like little vignettes like lined up down the street. And so I scare them at the beginning, and then they go away, and like you can tell that they're like looking over their shoulder at me, trying to see if I'm following them. And then I don't break eye contact, and then I just like kind of move out of their line of sight. So they're like, I'm gone. Okay, great. And then I just kind of go up the side to the last box, and then right as they come around that corner, here I am. And then they run away, and it's so nice. Or it's like when I get to the end of the zone after I'm chasing somebody, and like they're like yelling at me, and I like turn around and I like shake my butt and just like, yeah, get out of my zone, you crazy person. Go on, get
out. This is my time. Like,
this is my area. And then another, I've also, because it's a little bit harder to do in a zone, is to drop somebody to the ground.
Yeah.
It's a little bit easier in the maze because usually you're in a hide and you're up above and you can like pop out and just like
And the
flatten
instinct
people.
is to go as far away from the thing at you as possible, so that
Yeah.
would be the ground. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I thought it looked really cool. I almost got hit because of it because I got really close to some person.
Ooh,
So that was on me. That was on me. But I was in my first maze in 2017. There was like a long hallway before you got to me, and then I was the first of 5 pop outs in a row. But how it was set up was the light from the hallway, when they would hit their trigger, it would illuminate me before I could do anything.
So it kind of ruin it a little bit, or?
Right. So to kind of circumvent that, I would wait until their trigger was done. And then, especially, this worked really well, especially if there was a backup, a conga line. And I was like in a corner too. So what I would do is their light would turn, and then in the dark, I would move. And because my eyes are adjusted, I can see where they are. And so I would get maybe 1.5 feet away from them and then just stay there. And just and I was a face character, so it's like my face is out and like I'm looking all creepy. And so then when the light from the hallway turns on, I'm that close to them and I don't have to do anything.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love moving in the dark scares because...
Yeah, that's what I loved about Pandora's box last year. That's what I did love about that maze, is that they would move in and out of the...
I will say, in that maze, I loved that they moved in the dark because that does get me. I used to move in the dark in another place, too, and I know how hard it can be sometimes, so if it's done well, like... You are that far away from me, and then even though I'm moving, you still end up this close to me without touching me. Bravo, it's tough. But there was this one part in Pandora's box that doesn't have to do with moving in the dark, so I'm sorry, it's a little bit of a tangent.
It's Pandora's box, so it's good.
It's Pandora's box. So I was going through, and there was a stilt walker that was blended into a wall. And I was going through and I was saying hi to my friends and stuff, but I know so many people at that haunt and they're the ones wearing masks, not me. So I never know who is actually scaring me. I don't know who's on set. I don't know what the role is. And this stilt walker pops out from the wall, bends over me, which was really intimidating, especially if you're a tall person. It's like anything taller than you is going to scare you. So he was like bent down over me and then just pats my head, and like the face is this close to me, and I'm like, do I know you? And they're like,
yeah.
I'm like, message me later, I don't know who you are, bye. It was just like, what?
Oh my, I love when I see people like, because where I was at, I was closer to the front, so like anytime I could get away from like my zone, I would go watch like chainsaw stuff. And so you see like all the people on stilts, and there was a 3-legged stilt last year, or 4-legged stilt last year.
Yes.
And
Ringu.
a friend of
Ringu,
so
yeah.
My friend was, it was like maybe 50-50 chance that it was him in the thing. And so like, but it would take, because of how that mask looked, I could never tell unless he like would say something. And so I'm like leaning on the wall. I'm like in a hood, covered up, whatever. And he comes and like, he's like strutting over, and I'm like, oh no, here we go. And he puts his, like, the front leg up on the palm tree, and he gets close, and he just goes, hey, how's it going? Like he's leaning on the wall, be like, hey, what's up? I'm like, oh my,
hey girl, how
like,
you
go away, go back, please. And then I've also I was walking through a zone one time, and I had a hoodie on, and a friend of mine, no idea, was on stilts, literally, and my hood was up, grabbed me like right here and just dragged me out of the scare zone. And I was like, you're in trouble. Put me down. Stop it. And then he threw me out of the zone. I was like, how dare you? I'm going to tell on you. I didn't, but it's just
like it's in good spirit. And as long as you don't get hurt.
How dare you?
There was definitely a time last year I went through alone, and I was not subtle at all. Like, I wore my red wig, red Halloween dress with the bats and everything, and I had my camera out, and I was like, guys, I'm the one all in red. Scare me if you see me. Also message me later so I know you saw me, because I want to say hi. And there was this one chainsaw, and I still don't know who it was, but whenever I was going through the zone, he would, like, come up behind me and just go, boo. And I'd be like, hi. I would walk like a few more feet, and then I'd hear behind me, boo. I'm like, oh. Who are
Yeah.
you? And I would just like
Who
walk
is
up here,
this?
and then they'd rev the chainsaw right by me, like, who are you? Why are you scaring me so many times? Like,
It's such
let me
like
out.
a special. It adds such a special layer to it, though.
It really
It's-
does. Like, if
it's
you are a
the
scare
best.
actor and then you go through your own haunt, like a year when you're not scaring,
Mhm.
or like it's your day off and you want to just go through and your friends are scaring, like, oh my God,
Yeah.
do you have a hit on you? Because they will go all out. Like, if you see someone you know, you always want to put 110% in your scare. I mean, beforehand,
Yeah.
you're always putting 100% in your scares because you're a
Yeah.
professional. But with a friend coming through or a family member coming through, it's 110%.
Yes.
I remember when my dad
Yes.
came through. My dad came through once, and I put a hit on him, which means I took a picture of him and what he was wearing that day, put it on social media, like in our scare actor groups and stuff, saying, guys, is my dad, scare him, please. My dad does not like theme parks, crowds, or scary things, and he still came out to support me because my mom was too chicken to support me, so he was like, at least I gotta represent us, and it's like, oh, Dad, thanks. He was like, usually he's just like, businessman, but when I came to like meet him before my shift and take a picture of what he's wearing and everything, I was in my onesie and I didn't have my makeup on or anything at the time. So I was just like, okay, Dad, can I take a picture of you? Because I want people to scare. And he's like, okay, is this a good pose? I'm like, yeah. And just so you know,
we
what
love
he was
Dad.
wearing that day, jeans, but like nice jeans, loafers, and like a button-up shirt and a blazer. So he was like still dressed up businessman.
He's got a
like,
meeting
going
to go
haunt-
to.
Right. But that's my dad's casual wear. So
Yeah.
he was going through, and when the haunt started and I was in costume and everything, I warned him ahead of time, like, I won't be able to chat with you or anything. We're not allowed to talk. I have to stay in character, you know, so I won't be able to be me, you know. He would just keep going through the zone, trying to record me, getting super blurry shots, so I have like no photos that I can use. He tried his best, but he was like going through just like, you can't really scare my dad. He doesn't scare easy, but when people popped out and played along, he was like,
You know, we love a good sport, you know.
And so the zombie kids in my zone, if you're not familiar with the movie Trick or Treat, it was the Trick or Treat zone, and there is one of the 5 analogous stories in it tells of these mentally disabled children who were going to school on a school bus, and they were all dressed up for Halloween, and the bus driver was paid off to do away with the children, and then they come back as zombies, so they're the zombie kids, but they are meant to be mentally disabled children. So the actors were very creative in like making that come across but still scare, because they're like innocent children but they're still zombies, you know. So they had this thing where if anyone spills something, they would surround it, like all surround and then stare at it, and then at the same time just start screaming at the popcorn on the ground or like a drink that someone brought, and they would just surround it and just go, ah, for like a few minutes, and it was a whole thing. So
That's interesting.
when my dad came through, first off, I was very confused because I'm like, does he know there are other mazes he could go through? Because he's just going through the zone over and over again for like 30 minutes. Dad, just go enjoy Halloween Horror Nights. Like, hello. So, so he was going through, and one of the zombie kids runs up to me. He's like, I think I found your dad. Is he like this business looking guy? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, come with me. So he leads me to my dad, and my dad's like, you know, and it's so out of character for my dad. And I'm like roaring at him because like I don't know what to do. But all the zombie kids, like the one zombie kid that called me over, calls over all the other zombie kids. They surround my dad and just start screaming at him. And I can't scream because I'm a wolf, so I start howling with them. But it was like this whole thing that we were doing it, and it drew a crowd of guests who were just so confused. Apparently everyone thought that was not my dad. They thought that was like a supervisor or like head honcho of Universal, because they were like dressed, he was dressed up. And I later had to tell everyone, no, that was just my dad. It's just how he is. I'm sorry. But we wanted to make it special. But the guests were so confused. Like, what's with this guy? Why are they yelling at him? Like, what did he do? And then security came over and was like, do we need to kick him out? I'm like, no, that's my dad. Like, oh man, God, it was like
confused guests. Confused guests, man.
I don't like to confuse guests. I like to scare them. Another time they were confused. I'll say this and then we'll get back to your stories. I'm so sorry, but it falls in line. So one other time I was legitimately confused and guests were legitimately confused was the time a stilt walker who had a small hatchet as a prop handed me their hatchet and I can't bend my claws, so I was like balancing a hatchet. And I was like running around like, what do I do? What do I do with this?
Like it's a hot potato.
Pretty much. I was like,
what do I
I
do?
don't. It's just I don't need this. I have claws. Like, what do I do? I can't even grip it. Like, I can't hold it. So I ran back up to him because all I did was run around and like this like neurotic behavior. I'm like, and like try to scare people that way of like, it's just kidding. I have a claw, but a hatchet, but a claw, and it just ended up confusing everybody. And I was so exhausted, so I ran back up to the stilt walker and like gracefully placed it in front of me, like, please take this back. And all he does is pat my head and walk away. I'm like,
no, that's yours now.
Please take
Basically,
it back.
I don't want this anymore.
Like, if I could shout up to you, sir, take this back. I don't like it. If I didn't have the claws, it would be a lot of fun, but it was just so confusing.
Right.
The guests were just confused. They were not scared, and I don't blame them. I was also very confused. Just why? Why did you do this? But
my favorite.
Sorry, go on. I was going to ask you other favorite scares, so go on.
I love roping kids into it.
Oh yes.
Like especially if it's like a little sibling and then an older sibling. Because then it's like older sibling usually would walk ahead, and then younger sibling is with mom or dad, and so then I get down and I kind of like saddle up next to them, and then I go and then I like get them to look at me, and of course they're like, "Who are you?" But then I'll point at the sibling and I'll get them to look, and then I'll go like this. And then like I'll go and I'll scare the sibling, or I get them to chase someone with me, and like we run together like to the end of the zone or whatever. Or I'll try to get like mom and dad's attention first to be like, is this okay? And then I'll like try to interact with them. Sometimes they want to hold your hand, and it's the cutest thing.
Yeah.
And I know like we're usually not allowed to like give high fives and whatever. I will give a high five to any child, just to be like, especially if they're a little, like, you can tell that they're a little apprehensive, but still kind of interested. Because then it's like, hey, man, we're cool. Like, I'm not, like, this is fun. This isn't scary. This is fun time. So it's like, if I can go like this, and they even if it's just like a little, and I'll like clap, or it's like, I remember one year they were giving out, they had like Minecraft swords that like lit up.
Yeah.
And so people, so like, right. So like a kid would like draw it and like fight us, and like we would like, and we would like pass out on the ground or something. Yeah, that was one of my favorite things about being in a scare zone versus like being in a maze, is just like, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed the interaction, like with guests that are cool.
What is
so I remember not wanting to be.
Sorry, what is some advice you'd give someone who's used to working mazes but working a scare zone for the first time?
Yeah, so that's what kind of leads into what I was going to say is when, because I was in the maze my first year, and I was like, okay, great, mazes, awesome. So much so that when I went to audition the second time, I put street as like my bottom. I was like, do not put me out there. And then they put me out there, and I was like, what am I going to do? But but that was also my first time with a mask. And so that was really nice, because it's like, it didn't matter what my face was doing. The mask did most of the work for me. What I would say is just, as cliche as it sounds, it's just, you just gotta like, you have a rehearsal usually, but you just gotta go with it, improvise, just try literally everything, team up with your fellow actors that are out there with you. And then also, once you get comfortable, it's super important to be aware of your surroundings. At least on the street that I was on, there were no cameras, so we had to watch out for each other. So it's like, I remember one of my actors got cornered, like, by a guest. I mean, and again, this is probably not the smartest thing. I would not say to do this. I would say to go get security, or actually a stilt PA, because they know how to handle things kind of a little bit better than security sometimes, just because they work at the park usually on a normal basis. is I went and I like kind of stood in front of the guy in front of my actor, and I was like, hey, you get out. And he listened, thank God, but it's just like, you know, because he was like, the poor actor was like not trying to scare him at all, was just literally standing there. And I just kind of put my hand in front and I was like, hey, you need to go. Like, I didn't say anything, but I was just like, hey, get out. And then he just kind of like, well, whatever, and then just kind of walked away. And you could tell his girlfriend was real embarrassed because he was making a scene.
I feel bad for his girlfriends when the guys like try and get too rough, and it's like,
yeah,
why are you doing this? You're just gonna end up either getting both of you kicked out and she's gonna be pissed at you anyway, or you're making a scene and embarrassing her anyway, and you're not gonna have a good time. So just like brush it off, move on.
And again, if you're out on a street and you don't know what to do, again, copy the people around you. If like on your break, watch your double and see what they do and just do it. And chances are your own scares will evolve from that just naturally. Half the time, some of my best scares is because I do things on accident. And then I go, oh, that's scary. Awesome. Or like, I'll literally just turn around and someone just happens. The amount of times I've turned around and scared a PA, so many times.
Oh.
Just so many times. And then I go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Usually when no one's around, I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And they're like, it's okay.
Just, my heart hurts. I cried for a bit, but it's fine. It's the job, you know?
If there's like a staff, like in the way, like I know, like, because the PAs have to watch the stilts, but sometimes they would stand kind of where I needed to be hiding. And so all I had to do is just go up and be like, hi, I'm so sorry. Would you mind just stepping back a little bit just so that and they're just like, yeah, sure. So it's honestly just be polite, just improvise, literally just have fun and commit, and you're going to be fine if you're in a scare zone. I was super anxious about it my first time, especially because I had a humongous dress on.
I'm nervous every time, and I mainly do scare zones. Like, I did it 2018, of course. 2017, I wasn't, but that was my first year scaring that particular haunt at all, and I know, like, you gotta work up to be trusted and stuff. But haunts beforehand, I was up in San Francisco originally, so those haunts, yes, I was doing scare zones and pop outs. Like, I did a good mix of it all, but I love scare zones for the interaction with the guests, and I still get nervous like every time because I'm a different character. There are different guests every night. Just go out, have fun. Hopefully they're there to have fun. If they're not, then chalk it up to they're having a bad night, not you. Move on to the next one. But yeah, it's fun. So it's Huxton. Is it possible to bring knee pads as a guest? I don't know that one. I would say why.
I would wonder what they're for.
Yeah. I'm just like
do you fall down when you get scared a lot?
I guess so, because I believe they commented that when we were talking about drops. So I would say, they go. I mean,
if they're under your clothing, I would say that probably no one's gonna bat an eye if you wear knee pads underneath your clothing, especially if they're like soft, like volleyball knee pads.
Yeah, I was gonna say volleyball knee pads. If they're like slider knee pads, that's a different thing.
If you walk around with like this big honking things like on the outside of your jeans, I think people are gonna be like, are you planning something? What is that for?
You're gonna be sus. You're gonna be really sus. I don't know if it's against the rules. I don't know if you're allowed. But I will say it looks sus. So be wary of it.
Be smart.
Be smart.
Be smart about it.
Yeah. I want to ask, like, what are there some fun scares and stuff? But that's like the common question I have. Like, what advice?
I mean,
scares? It is scary. Some of my
I mean, some of my favorite things are like times where I've messed up. Like, those are my favorite things. When there was one time when I was in the maze my first year, and there was a lantern literally like on a very skinny pole. And originally the scare was we were supposed to hold the lantern, but the lantern was metal and very heavy. So instead it was on like a stick with like a little tiny platform up top. And so we were supposed to stand there, and we were in complete view the whole time. So like people would come in and they'd see us, and then they would go this way. So it was affixed to the post, and then we're supposed to just mime that we're holding it, and then choose a time to let go, and then scare the people down below.
Ah.
The amount of times I punched that lantern is because I'm like this, because the lighting wasn't such where I could be on either side of it. It had to be this side. Okay. And so this was so tired and sore, and so at a certain point, this arm gets real tired. And so I just went like, and I punched it, and it literally just went boop. And I think I just went like with people in front of me. I was just like, and I just nice. Walked off, and I was like, John, I broke the lantern. And he was like, oh no, it wasn't John. It was Brian. Brian, I broke the lantern. He was like, all right, let me go. Because there was glass there. I think there was glass in it, like in the little panels. There wasn't after that. Nope. Because I broke it.
Well, they have to learn from mistakes too. They have to adapt.
Yeah, or like the times like that I've tripped on my many dresses that I've had and just completely eaten it. Or
do you have advice on how to move in those big dresses? Because I've never worn a big dress before.
Mm-hmm. So last year I had like a floor length dress with no hoop skirt, and then the year before I had like a masquerade dress with a hoop skirt. And as much trouble as the hoop skirt gave me, I would much prefer the hoop skirt over just having a long dress, because the hoop skirt at least had something keeping the material away from you.
Right.
It's not stepping on the ring of the hoop skirt that you have to get past, which is I just like would kick it before I would move, and then I would move. It's really just like I would just work the picking up of the skirt into what I was doing. Like I said, how I would run after people, I would make the gathering like a whole thing. Like, here we go, we're going. And I would like make it part of the whole act. And then like last year it was like a floor length, like kind of heavy, like stretchy fabric, kind of blue dress. And so I would use it, like I would swing it around so that it was kind of like off my feet, and then kind of go for people. But then again, if you have a long dress and it's getting in your way, tell costumes and they will hem it for you.
Oh, for sure.
They will absolutely hem it for you.
Yeah, do not be afraid to ask costumes or makeup for like a slight change in something. They want to make sure you're safe. As long as it's within reason, obviously. It's like, yeah, I don't like my dress. Can I have pants instead? It's like, okay, well, that's not really the character, so...
It's honestly probably the underlying reason why I want to play a guy is just so that I can have pants.
That is a good reason. Pants. Yeah, because especially if you said you've been wearing dresses a lot, I know that can get tiring, scaring, and like there's not a whole lot of movement you could do. But yeah, wearing pants is good. I remember
last year was a cape and a dress.
It was a what?
A cape and a dress last year.
Ooh, that's a lot. That is a lot. My first year scaring that particular haunt, I just had jeans and a t-shirt that was a little bloody, and I was like so spoiled, and I knew it. I just like...
Were you a camp counselor?
I was. And I had a mask on, so I would just take the mask off, put shades on, put a sweatshirt over the shirt, and then I had a little bit of blood on my jeans, so if any of the guests were questioning me as I was going through my own maze, I'd be like, it's just Kool-Aid. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no,
it's not blood. What are you talking about? Because another thing is, if you could go through your own maze while you were on a break, if you're in a haunt that actually gives you breaks fairly regularly and you can spare one to go through it, I highly advise you do, if you could like blend in with the guests, which is why I advise bringing a sweatshirt and like pants or like a onesie like Skye, Mackenzie, and I always wear. So bring something to cover your costume, and if you have makeup on, to cover the makeup. Like a bandana or glasses,
And sometimes costumes will give you a robe if they don't run out. So it's like if you don't have something, or you have like, I know a lot of the costumes will be like a unitard that you don't want to take on and off a bunch of times. You can just put on a robe. I used to bring one from home, but that's what was one of the biggest like perks about wearing a mask. Because my first year, I had makeup literally all over me my first year. It was across my chest, down both my arms, down my back. I had a huge long red wig. I had a full face of makeup with a prosthetic. I couldn't go anywhere. I had to like layer and layer and layer if I wanted to. And then to get to our bathroom.
You just described, because I think I was pool for that once. I won't say it, but I know what you're talking about.
I mean, you know. Yeah. So and to get to our bathroom, we had to go in front of guests to go to the bathroom. Mm-hmm. So it was like those half an hour breaks were not long enough to like wrap all up to go just pee real quick. And I was like, I would kill for a porta potty right now. Just give me a porta potty. But another thing I will say is don't be afraid to also bring your own shoes. I have brought, the 2 years I've done a scare zone, I've bought my own shoes every time, because the shoes that they gave me ballet flats one year, and I was like,
ooh, no art
for
support.
for cobblestones. I was like, it's not.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And it's literally, this is bad. But since we're not mentioning the haunt, I would literally be like I'd go to check out my costume, and they'd be like, okay, you know, we have this, we have, oh, and here's your shoes. And I was like, oh, no, I have my own shoes. And they're like, did you get them approved? I'd be like, yep. And they'd be like, okay.
That's
done.
it. That's the truth.
I mean, if they're black, the only last year I got white because they matched my costume. But
right.
I mean,
if you could get something that matches your costume that you know works for you, even better.
Yeah.
But it is highly recommended that you bring your own shoes, because every time, because you don't know if costumes is going to misplace your shoes or something's going to happen to your shoes and you need a backup pair.
I will say they get destroyed every year.
Bring
I
your
throw them
own
away.
insoles for whatever shoes you're wearing, because that'll buy you at least a couple more hours without your feet being in incredible pain.
There was one more point where I messed up that I just think is so funny. Well, it wasn't I messed up, but it was really funny. So the scare zone
accident.
it was a little dangerous, but it ended up being fine. So the scare zone that I was in is where they would take all the merch carts, like at the end of the night, to like unload them, like get them out, right?
Yeah.
So you have all these random carts like coming through our scare zone, and we would like hide behind them and like mess with the people moving them or whatever. So in that hoop skirt, I got a little too close to one of those carts, and the bottom hoop of my skirt got caught on the brake of the cart.
Oh no.
And so this cart is I was walking, but it was dragging me down the scare zone. And because the music was so loud and I have a mask on, the person pulling, who was facing away from me, doesn't know that I am hitched to her cart.
Oh, God.
And my freaking Scareactor friends are just like, look at her. And I'm like, guys.
Okay, help me first and then laugh at me later. Please.
I think I eventually just had to like, not hit her, but just like, hey, like tap her and be like, look. And she was like, oh my God. It was so good.
I'm trying to think of other times where I had like accidents kind of like
that. There was one time I stood in barf in the scare zone.
Ooh.
Like I had a PA come up to me and I was like, oh, hi. And she goes, you're standing in vomit. And I was like, ah! And I picked up my dress and I like ran away. I was like, no, I'm done. I'm done for this shit. I'm done.
I remember that if anyone like peed their pants or even just spilled their beer, if there was any spill at all, there was always some sort of PA that had to be there, or like a scare actor would take that shift and just stand over it so that people don't walk through it. I would always be like, thank you.
Just like spread you. And I'm like,
because we can't slip and slide, you know. We gotta make sure, especially if it's pee, it's biohazard, so you need to properly take care of that. I did accidentally scare someone who fell on their back, and it took them a few seconds before they started laughing. So at first I was like, oh God, did I kill them? Like, I didn't mean to. I just turned around and my mask is scary and they were not expecting this, and then they fell. And they fell down. They started laughing and I was like, oh, okay, at least they're okay. And then the person who was in the bunny costume in my zone comes up and he's like, was that your scare? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, okay. Gets down on the ground and does the wrestling like 1, 2, 3. And the guy's still on the ground laughing, and then comes over to me, takes my claw and lifts it up in the air in victory. He was like, yeah. Like,
You're like, cool, I think.
Like, I was so
there was one time
my face, I was just like, the whole time, but you can't see it because I had a mask. So the whole time, the wolf head is just like, yeah. Like, I'm sorry.
There was one time my sleeve got caught on some lady's bracelet.
Oh, no.
Yeah, like she happened to like turn around or like and just happened to like get really close to me, and like we went like this, and my lacy sleeve got caught on her bracelet, so she went to walk away, and I went,
oh no.
And so and it was an older lady, and so she was just like, oh no, and I was like going like this and like doing like the miming of like, I'm so sorry, and she goes, it's fine, I'll fix it, and it was just so fun. It was so
at least she was a good sport about it. I hate the people such a bad sport. There was this one time where I was just walking through a crowd, and I'm a big wolf at this time, so it's hard to navigate through a crowd, and I also have this torn up dress, so it might get caught on some people sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't trying to scare, I was literally just trying to walk. And I guess I didn't feel this until like maybe after the fact. Like, did something just happen? I don't know. But at the time I didn't really feel it. Apparently what happened was this guy and his girl were walking. It was like an older couple. They were walking the opposite direction of me. And there was no room for me to go this way. So I had to try and like go around them. And as I went around them, his water bottle, it's just a plastic bottle like this, so it's not that big a deal. But his water bottle got caught on my dress, and he drops his water bottle, and I guess he thought I did that on purpose. I don't know, like, why did I do that on purpose? And I at the time I was like, did something just tug on me? So I look back, and he's just looking at me like really mean, like scowling. I was like, I guess something happened. We'll find out later. Sure enough, just like 5 minutes go by, and security calls me over. And I had to drop character at that point, which I never like to do. But if you're approached by security, you drop character, you know. Yeah. And security's just like, hey, this man says that you purposely made him drop his water bottle. And I dropped character. I didn't take my mask off or anything, so like people still see me as a wolf. But I was like, oh, I'm sorry that happened to you. I didn't mean to do anything. It's really hard to see in my mask. It was really crowded. I couldn't get around you. It was either try and get around you or go through a tree, which is impossible. So, you know, like it happens. I'm sorry you dropped your water bottle. It was a complete accident. You have to understand, I'm a human in this costume. I'm tired. It's at the end of the night. It is crowded. It was an accident. I'm sorry. And
I'm sorry.
And they were kind of mean at first, but then they settled down after they realized, oh, it's a girl and she's tired and it's just a costume. She didn't mean it. So they were like, oh, yeah, I guess we were just having a bad night. It was just like really crowded and we didn't get to see anything. So I'm sorry we took it out on you a little bit, but still, you should be careful. I'm like, you had some humanity to you right there. There was a flicker of it.
So
Where did it go?
You're so close.
There goes the human decency.
Bye.
But you gave me hope. You gave me hope.
And then
I wasn't in trouble. Thank God.
Yeah.
Just people.
Another thing I would say is, as far like obviously you always want to like give 110%. And you, at least where we work, if you have sick days because we're a union. So you don't be afraid to use them if you're not feeling well. But also if let's say you've used them or you don't feel comfortable calling out, don't be afraid to go up to your captains or even your supervisors or whoever is like, can coach you and be like, hey, I'm not feeling super great. Is there anything you can show me, any kind of skills or like tools you can show me where like I can still scare effectively, but I'm not, like, especially in a scare zone. Last year I had a really bad cough and like, and there were fires and it was not super cool. And so I was having a hard time breathing. And so I was just like, hey, I just want you guys to know, if you see me just standing around, this is why. And I'm just going to be, you know, kind of feeding off of, you know, my fellow Scareactors and kind of like distracting for them so that they can scare. You know, just kind of standing in one spot in like good lighting and being creepy. And I just asked, you know, is there anything else you would recommend that I do? And they were like, no, that sounds good. Thanks for telling us. So honestly, just as much communication as you can give people.
Yes.
And speaking up is always.
as much heads up as you could give your supervisors, the better, because they are trying to work with you and they don't want to be blindsided by you just not showing up to work one day, and it stresses them out completely. So if you give them a heads up, you're like, hey, I feel not the best right now. Like, I'm either hurt and healing, or I feel like a little sick coming on, but I don't feel sick to be home and heal from that. Just let them know. And it's always good to take a slower night to ease out of it.
Sometimes they'll even adjust your set schedule. So usually we're like on the street, it's like 45 on, 45 off. That night they were able to give me half hour on, hour off.
Ooh,
so
okay, that's even
right.
better.
Yeah,
because
so
they want to
like
work with you. They want to make sure.
Yeah.
They want to make sure that you are going to be good in the long run. So if it's just like one night where you need a half on, hour off versus a 45, they'll do that rather than force you to do the 45 and have you call out completely the next night or something. So it's like, work with your supervisors. Greenleaf 20 says, saw your note on TikTok and I thought that was so funny. Thanks. I just wanted to let people know, like, I have followers on TikTok who are interested in Scareactor content, so that was the best way I could think of, like, hey, come over to YouTube right now. This is where the action is. It's Huxton. Is it bad that I can spot potential scare spots? Would it ruin my experience as a guest? What do you think? That's
a good question. And I find because I've worked it for so long and I go through a haunt, I do it too. Like, I'm like, there's someone over there. There's someone right there. But that's a hard question. It's hard because it's not really up to you where they put people. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I know that even though I can tell where people are going to be, I definitely still enjoy it just because I'm there. And then if I'm in a group, I usually try to go first in a group, because I feel like a pretty common practice is you don't scare the first person, you scare in the middle. But then as that first person, I have to try my heart, especially if it's an event like Reign of Terror, where the whole event is largely the same each time, and I know where everybody is. I have to try my hardest not to turn my head or indicate where the person will be coming from, because the people behind me have never been here. And so if I go like this and like brace myself, then they know that it's coming from here. But that's a really interesting question. I guess
it's a great point that you just made, because I didn't even think of that. So I was gonna say, kind of like how you trained yourself to know haunts so well that you could pick out those spots. You also have to train yourself how to be a good guest and how to like allow yourself to be scared. It took me many times, and it still is tough to this day because I am a little desensitized. I do know where people are probably going to hop out and stuff. You just got to mellow out as much as you can and just appreciate the experience for what it is, rather than on the search for like on the hunt for like little spots. Just keep going straight, and then if something pops out, something pops out, and just get scared, allow it. But I never really thought of it as like, you might be indicating to people behind you what things are if you're on the hunt for things. So just it's a fake it till you make it mentality is my best advice. Fake being just a guest, not a scare actor looking for those pop outs, not someone who's been through the haunt before. Like, just pretend like this is your first experience ever. You have no idea where anyone is. And just try your best. And then eventually, you will be scared. Eventually, you will start to actually feel scared because you faked it so many times. So that's another thing
Another thing you could do is take the time to look at if there's a set that's really intricate. Like, focus on your surroundings and kind of look for those details. And so maybe you're not focused so much on the people, but of just the surroundings, because at least like where we work, I mean, the mazes can be so detailed that you have to go through it a couple of times to catch everything. So, if you kind of shift your focus from focusing on the scares to focusing on just like other stuff around you, that might be a good distraction as well.
Yeah. So just distract yourself. Try and be a good guest. I don't know. Greenleaf 20. I was the one who said I would watch an entire movie about your cosplay background from your life. Oh, thank you. Alucard Van Helsing. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. That's where I came from. TikTok. Oh, nice. People from TikTok are here. Yay! Hello. Does anybody have any other questions for my scare actor friend Kim and I? Maybe. William says I hated the Jason shoes. Yeah. They seemed a little hard to move in. Yeah.
My notes.
Oh, that's fine. I could also ask more questions. I can make stuff up. It's fine. So if you have any advice for like specific kinds of characters that you would make up, because I know for like Not Scary Farm and some other haunts, you make up your own character and go from there, and like you have your own costume and stuff. Have you ever done that? And what is your best advice to give to people making up a character for the first time?
Oh, well, I have never done that.
Oh, really?
And I think it's really cool. It's an interesting challenge that people at Knott's are doing that. And I had heard that a couple of times, and I didn't know if that was just like a rumor or if that's something that people did. So the fact that they can make such amazing costumes is fantastic. I mean, if I were going to make a costume for myself, it would be pants.
Yes.
But just you'd have to don't make it too hard for you to move around. I mean, it'd be a lot. Any advice I would give would be super logical stuff, like not making it too heavy and making it too hot. You'd have to get really creative with material, I would assume. So like if you were going to make a prop, it can't be like a real axe. It's got to be fake because you can't, axe is too heavy, you know?
Also danger.
Yeah, much danger. But yeah, it's hard because I've never had to make my own costume for like a haunt. I've been spoiled and it's been provided for
I know it's been one of my biggest challenges on TikTok too, is because everyone's demanding, saying like, let's see the wolf costume. Like, you guys don't understand it. I had to turn it back in every night. Like, it's not my costume. I'll try and make a wolf OC, but it will not be nearly as cool as
my god.
So sorry.
That's like essentially a giant mask, like your wolf costume.
It was
like a giant mask.
Pretty empty on the inside. So when I first tried it on, it was just like it could do a 360 around my head. Like, it was so much space. So then they packed it with foam to try and fit it better, but it would still shift and it would end up cutting my nose, and I remember you
having that. It would like every time I saw you, it would like get bigger, and I'd be like, your poor nose.
I would bleed every day, every night. It would end up bleeding, even if I had the tape on. So I started putting tape on it to help with that, but yeah, no, the bridge of my nose was absolutely raw because of that freaking mask. Let's see, Greenleaf 20, where's the best place to go? Well, that's up to you. I'll say that, because it really depends. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know where you are. First off, I don't know where in the world you are. We are currently in Los Angeles, California, so you know, we could speak up.
I mean, I can tell you what my favorites are.
Yeah, go for that.
I mean, I have been to Fright Fest fairly recently as a guest.
Is it different from when you worked there?
I don't want to badmouth any park, but I will say that the management of the crowds was not great.
It rarely is.
But I had to wait 30 to 45 minutes to use the bathroom.
Oh.
With half of the bathroom being closed. It's like, why is that closed right now?
Yeah, that's weird.
It's just, I feel like their security is a little bit less, and so they kind of like, also Six Flags is that place, especially because it's in Santa Clarita. It's definitely that place where you drop your teen and you leave your teen there and you let your teen do whatever they want. And so you have to do it.
I never want to scare there now. I will never scare there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, but scaring where we scare, we're so spoiled.
We really are. We are so spoiled. Yeah.
But I appreciate Knott's for its creativity. They are super original, which I love. Yes. They have a lot of freedom to like move around. I've heard that they're and they can talk. Yeah. But it's like their original mazes are so good. And if you've never been, I highly, highly recommend that you go. They're not super, well, it depends on what year you go, but they're not like, it's a different kind of aesthetic than like Horror Nights. Because Horror Nights is so about like all the films and stuff. And so everything's hyper realistic and it's like you're on a movie set. And then you go to Knott's and it's kind of more home haunty, but not in a bad way.
It's very creative, not like based on a movie, so it doesn't have to be super accurate, so they have that creative power and that freedom. So it's really cool. And then their use of lights, their use of laser lights is always spot on.
I know, that's the only room where I have to be like, I know you're here and I don't want to step on you.
Yes,
I know you're here. And then you see like a little
like the little raising a little head here. So what I'm talking about specifically is at Not Scary Farm. There's this maze. I don't know if it's like every year, but the last 2 times I've gone, it's been there. Where I don't remember what maze it is, but there's this one room that is a brilliant use of laser light and fog. So the light bounces off the fog in such a way that makes you feel like you're walking through water, like a bog of sorts. And then they have these scare actors that are hidden underneath the laser light, so like underneath the surface of the water, and they're just going through the fog, and then every so often they'll pop up and scare you, and it's one of my favorite
effects. It's one of my favorite effects. They have it at Reign of Terror also, and it's just like, it's so simple, but it's so effective, and it's so good every single time I see it. So much so that when I turn the corner and I see a room, I like immediately start giggling, and I'm like, here we go.
Oh, we just appreciate the haunt so much. Queen Harley, hi. It's Hoxton, reminds me of cosplay mixed with D&D. Yeah, it is. Sometimes with haunt, it's like, you have to make up your character, you have to make up your costume sometimes. Sometimes they'll give you a costume and just say, here's a costume, make up a character for it. You don't have to make it from scratch unless you really wanted to. I have a friend that works for Not Scary Farm, or at least did, the mess. And she said that she was given a costume, but it didn't work for the way she wanted to scare, so that she ended up creating her own, because she does so she made her own dress. And her own costume, and it was great. But they do assign characters. You just have to fit that character and like make up your own backstory and stuff. Greenleaf 20, how old do you have to be a scare actor? We've kind of already addressed this in the last interview. I don't know if we did it already.
We haven't, but it's whatever. I think at Horror Nights it's 18. But for most places it's whatever labor laws the state. Like, I think for Six Flags, it was normal 16. Like, but then if you, at least here in California, so if you were 16 and working at Fright Fest, you couldn't work past a certain hour. So, like, at a certain, I think it was at, like, 11:30 at night, you'd see, like, this mass exodus of 16-year-olds because they couldn't work past a certain time. So, I mean, yeah.
Oh, no worries if you missed the other interview. Like, I answer this question a lot. It's no need to apologize if you missed the answer. I don't mind answering it again, especially because there's no like hard yes or no straight answer for it. Other than Kim, you pretty much covered what I usually say, which is it depends on where you live and it depends on the labor laws. And I'll usually say if it's like a volunteer haunt, you might get away with being really young as long as you have parental permission and you sign a form and a waiver and stuff. But if it's a paid place, like some place that pays you, it does go by labor laws. So just like wherever you are, specific haunt, it really depends. So I don't know.
It really does depend.
Yeah. Any other questions for Kim?
Anyone? I would also recommend Dark Harbor. Dark Harbor's fun.
I haven't been to
Dark Harbor. If you've never been.
I want to go.
It's really cool because they have mazes on the boat.
Yeah, I did
that's
something
just
like that up in Alameda. I went on the USS Hornet and we did the Haunted Hornet. So I did something similar to that already. That was actually my first haunt I ever worked, so it was really interesting. Favorite horror movie or video game?
Ooh. My favorite horror movie is a toss-up between the first Conjuring and Lights Out.
I haven't seen either of those, actually. I was going to say I haven't seen Lights Out. I haven't seen The Conjuring either. It's on my
Lights Out?
Yeah.
Do you know what Lights Out is about?
No, not at all.
It's so good. It's very simple. It's just about like this, essentially without giving too much away, it's about this girl who's being haunted by this ghost that only comes out when it's dark, but can also manipulate the light to turn out the light, and it's super spooky.
Ooh.
It's really scary.
Reminds me of Phasmophobia, which is
I haven't watched. I know I watch so many Let's Plays. It's dumb because I don't have time. I feel like I don't have time to play video games anymore, so I just watch other people play video games.
Watch me play video games Tuesdays.
I know I should. I think I follow you on Twitch.
Oh, cool. I follow you back then. I don't know if I do. Greenleaf, thanks, guys. You answered a lot of my questions, and I'm very thankful. I gotta go. Have a great rest of your day/night. Thank you for being here, and thanks for asking questions. We always love to answer questions. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Phasmophobia with my friends. And just last night, I do it Tuesdays at 8 because normally I would do Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but obviously Wednesdays I changed to do these fun interviews with my friends. So I played last night with my boyfriend and a friend of mine and friend of his. And it's the first time I ever played with those two. Obviously, I played with my boyfriend before. And it was a lot of fun, but at the very end, the last mission we did, I believe it was the professional mission because we're like starting to get a little better at it. And there were two of them inside. My boyfriend was in the truck looking at activity level and like what's going on in the house and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, so it's either this, or this. We need either fingerprints, freezing temperatures, or an EMF reader. You guys have those things. I have the EMF reader, so I'll run in to where we know the ghost kind of is and see if I could get a reading. I run in, I go through the door, immediately lights flicker out, and it's like activity level 10, ghost is on the hunt. I hear the ghost in my ear and I'm like, damn it! And then I'm running around, the door behind me is locked, so I'm running around the house and then I get got and I die right at the front door.
Oh man.
And with the EMF reader, and I was like, as soon as I walked in, it killed me. And I had the most sanity too, so I'm like, why me? What are you doing? What? But as a ghost, I was able to see it, and it was this weird, like, it kind of looked like a Wendigo from Until Dawn. It was this weird, lanky face, and the way it moved, it was like limping. It was like, I don't want to see that. Are you kidding? And it took them a solid, like, 3 minutes to even realize I was dead. And then another 5 on top of that to realize where I was. At the front freaking door, guys. Come on, get it together. And the person who realized this was my boyfriend. After 3 minutes of me being silent, which I never am, and he should know better. After 3 solid minutes, he's like, has anyone heard of Noelle, like, from Noelle? Is she okay?
Where'd she go?
Guys, I think Noelle might be dead. She has a question mark where her sanity used to be. I think she's dead. And I'm like in ghost world at that time going like, finally, my boyfriend realized I'm dead. And then I hear like my other friends in the house still going like, oh, we haven't found her body. Where is she? Is she dead? Oh my God. Oh. And it took them like another solid 5 minutes to find my body. And I did realize this. If anyone plays Phasmophobia, this was a very interesting find. This is very off topic of what we were talking about. But the ghost was on the hunt. And when you are dead, you are a ghost. You're in the ghost world. You could see the ghost while it's on the hunt. It was hunting one of my friends. And my friend was like, so its main area was like the kitchen, but it would patrol up all the stairs and then come down back into the kitchen and keep going that way. So it was patrolling like a long distance. So my friend was in the kitchen. Then lights started flickering. It was level 10. Ghost was on the hunt. I see the ghost coming for him from the other room, and he ran into the room behind me, and I stood in the doorway like, I'm gonna try and see if this works. The ghost comes to try and hunt him, bumps into me, walks away a little bit, comes back, bumps into me, which is the freakiest thing, by the way, because I'm staring at that thing dead in the eyes at that point. Bumps into me, goes away a little bit, tries one more time, and then's deterred and keeps going the other way. I was like, did I just save my friend's life? And then he ends up dying later, but you know, at least at that point I saved his life, so.
You know, you can't save everybody, you know.
You
I'm
can't.
gonna have to watch people play that game because that sounds.
It's
amazing.
entertaining. The first time I played it, I've had really bad anxiety this whole year because of the mess and everything.
It's a mess.
And I can't control it. And I've been given some medication from my doctor and everything, and I don't like taking it because it makes me feel sleepy. So I asked some of my friends, what can I do? William's one of them, in case he is in the chat. And they are all like, try some gummies, man. It'll mellow you out. You know, just get one of those mellowers. And I was like, I've literally never tried this before, but okay. So I got some gummies, and I got this nice blend. So it's like a mellower and upper at the same time. So it's a blend, in case people don't know. And never tried it, but it's a limited edition for Halloween one. That's blood orange flavor. It's so good. Like, I love it.
We love a special edition.
Limited edition, Halloween, blood orange. It has this like weird front to it that's like this haunted house looking thing, and I'm like, I love it. So I wanted to try it as playing Phasmophobia with my friends for the first time. And I was like, either this is going to make me very interesting or mellow me out. It mellowed me out way more than I expected. And I'm playing, and my friend Kurt is behind me in the house, and the other two were in the truck. And he's behind me, and we hear the ghost behind us, and is on the hunt, and Kurt is flipping out, going, guys, I hear it, it's behind me, it's behind me. And I'm like, Kurt, it's behind us, it's behind me. I heard it, it's speaking to me, hello? And then I get got, and instead of freaking out, I just go, okay.
All right.
I'm like, this is not an entertaining stream at all. I'm too mellowed out. And even the guys in the truck, like my boyfriend's like, Noelle, are you okay? You're like super calm right now. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. Like, I don't feel it, but I feel it, you know? And I'm calm. I'm dead, but I'm calm, you know?
I'm dead, but I'm calm.
So it's a fun game. To answer the question, I don't say that's my favorite game. My favorite is BioShock, like the classic one. Mm-hmm. And I have a Splicer costume and everything. And I went to Spirit Halloween store on Sunday, and I saw that they have this Splicer hook prop. And I'm like, oh, I want it so bad. But I didn't have the money for it. So I was like, oh, God, that would just complete the costume so much. Like, I want that hook so bad.
Some of my favorite games, you mentioned one of them, Until Dawn, is awesome because I feel like I'm just watching a movie, and I think it's amazing.
I would love to play that with you. Only one of us will take turns who's actually playing. But since you said it's your favorite game, I assume that you've seen or have at least played through the whole thing, so you kind of understand what the choices are, right? Right. I will be streaming it. I will at least record it. Somehow, once I'm done with the move, I'm gonna have my D&D dice choose for me. Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
but then there's a lot of QuickTime events. So
yes, I did think of that. 1 through 10 is a success. 11 through 20 is a failure. If it's a QuickTime event, it goes by whatever's on the left side or right side, and if there's more than those two options. Like I'll have it written out ahead of time, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Gotcha. It's like, I'll do like 10 in a row, write down those numbers, and then if it's QuickTime event, I'll just know the next 3 choices ahead of time, but it chooses for me. And I would love to have someone next to me just yelling, this one. Okay, cool. Because I can't like look down at a QuickTime event and be like, what's next? You know, and just like decipher it. So that's the idea, is like, let the dice decide. And,
that would be perfect.
And it will also choose if I do an inaction. So if I don't do anything at all.
If you don't do anything. Another really good one that's kind of like, it's a playable trailer, is the Silent Hill playable trailer. Have you ever played that?
I've heard of it. I haven't played it. I know it's really scary. Okay.
It's really scary. But it's like a slow burn. It's quick.
I like
you don't really have to do anything. You just kind of like walk through and experience it.
I don't mind that.
But there it's jump scary. But then also Five Nights at Freddy's is so funny to watch people play. I've never played it because that would stress me the heck out.
I did a playthrough of it. It's on my YouTube, and I used it in my my original welcome video for my YouTube channel, originally it was going to be a Let's Play channel. Like, that was the main thing I was going to do. And that's why I'm called Charge and Die. I talked about this in a previous interview, but I'm called Charge and Die because in video games specifically, I get bored, I charge, and then I die.
Dude, that was me, like, all through high school.
Yes. And a good example of this is the story I just told about Phasmophobia, where like, we need an EMF reading, run in, and okay, I'm dead. Cool. I tried, guys. So that's why I'm called Charge and Die. But with Five Nights at Freddy's, I had some really weird reactions, even for me, like watching it back and editing it, I was like, wow, I'm really over the top here, but it was so scary to play. It really was. Like, I was full on, I was pissed because I couldn't figure out how Freddy kept getting me. I didn't know how to prevent that from happening. So, like, one of them, I realized watching myself and, like, editing me playing horror games, when I am scared, like, genuinely scared or genuinely angry or genuinely, like, happy and, like, laughing, a genuine reaction usually comes with a clap. I never realized that, but I always did that. Like, when Freddy got me, I was like, oh, like that. And I was like, why am I clapping all the time? So, and, like, I've realized this when people make me laugh hysterically to the point where I'm crying, I'll usually be like, yeah.
Yeah, I clap too. I'm a clapper too.
You're a clapper,
for sure.
yeah. I'm definitely a clapper. I didn't know this until I started editing my own Let's Play videos, and I was like, why am I doing this? So that's always fun. But Five Nights at Freddy's is fun. I want to play the rest of them, but it's scary to play.
There's so many. There's so many of them too.
And I didn't think it would be, because when I was watching people play through the game, I was like, why are they so scared? It's like, you know when they're gonna pop up generally. You kind of can expect it. Why are they so scared? But then playing it and having it in the headphones, and you're just like,
yeah, I was gonna say, because it's got to be a lot of sound. Because it's like when I watch people play it, I usually don't have headphones in, especially, and sound comes into play a lot in the other ones, because it's like you're in a bedroom and you have to go to the door and, like, open it, and you have to, and if you hear, like, the breathing, then you have to close the door.
Yep. And even with headphones, you're going to be able to hear it. But I haven't played that one. I've seen people play that one. I told my boyfriend has a VR set. I do not. So I asked him, would it be okay if we get the VR Five Nights at Freddy's or, like, VR Phasmophobia and, like, play that? And he's like, nope, I'm not doing that. You can do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm like, I kind of want to do that. So another thing about me, I've said this before in other interviews too, but for you, Kim, I'm a scare actor because I like to be in control of the scares and know what's coming. I am usually pretty easy to scare when it comes to, like, games and stuff. I used to hide it really well, but then since being more of an entertainer, it's like you just gotta let go and be scared, because that's why people watch. I had too much pride when I started out, because I would get scared and I was like a Frozen scared. I'd be like, nope, I'm totally fine.
It's cool. Doesn't happen.
But now it's like, oh no, I don't want
like, I do the clapping. I do, like, if someone, like, especially if it's a walk around and they get close to me and, like, I don't know them, I go, hello. Like, I'm the conversation person. Yeah,
I hate myself for it too, because people do it to me.
I
like,
know.
How's it going? And I'm like, don't talk to me. I don't want to. But then I do it too. I'm just like, hi. How are you?
Right, and then I say some dumb joke that I'm sure they've heard like 10 million times. I feel so bad about it, but I'm just like, I don't know what you're looking at me, and I feel like you want me to say something, so I'm just gonna say something.
Yep. Yeah, I do that too, and it's like we don't realize how we are scared. Like, we judge people for being scared certain ways, but then we get scared ourselves when we're like, we're the people we hate the most. Oh God.
Yeah. Or I clap, like, especially if it's going through a maze of people that I know. If they pop out, I go, yay! Like, I applause for them. I'm like, yay, good job!
I do
like,
that,
Mom.
Especially if they get a friend I'm with. If I'm not going through alone and they get my friend and, like, they drop them, I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bravo. Round of applause.
Yes, indeed.
It's a round of applause. Any other questions for Kim or I before we call it a night? Oh, it's currently 11:11. Make a wish. Yes. Okay.
No more mess.
No more mess.
No more mess.
No more
No
mess.
more mess.
That's all we want is no more mess.
No more
Disneyland
mess.
open again.
You know,
Yeah.
people to go back to work.
Yes, definitely. I feel it. So to close out, do you have any other advice to give new scarers? We covered a good chunk of it, but did you finish the list? I feel like we got on one of our tangents. And
We did. And it's fine. Let's see. Don't be afraid to tattle on guests, I guess. Like I think you've covered this in another in other interviews, but it's like even if they do something where you can tell that they're like an aggressor, or even if it's like they only touched you on your shoulder or something, like don't just go, oh well, it's fine, they didn't hurt me. Like if they do it to you, like you said, if they do it to you, they're going to do it to other people, and especially at an event where they serve alcohol, it's just going to get worse. Like we had a kid, not last year, the year before, we had a kid walk through, and he came through the scare zone, and he had a rubber band and was like this.
Oh, I remember, I think.
And like, I threw my hands down, and I went to security, and I just went, go get him now, please. Like, get him out of here. Like, that is not...
I don't know why people do that.
It's not okay.
It's not.
Just, and he was by himself. I was like, you're not even, like, impressing anybody. What's wrong with you?
Like, what is the purpose of this, really? If no one's recording it, what's the point?
Yeah. I mean, and then also just, like, be grounded, in everything that you do. Like, the amount of times I've, like, planted both feet and pivoted just so that I don't, like, fall over. Mm-hmm. Or that I don't, like you said, I don't, like, hit someone on accident just because I don't know that they're near me. Yeah,
going off of that, I will also add, be grounded, like, physically, like, know your body and be aware of your surroundings and everything, but something else that'll help that is to be grounded mentally. I know a lot of actors who will meditate before their sets because it helps you with your check on your breathing. Am I hurt anywhere? And also you'll be more in the moment when you're out, so you'll be more aware of everything that's happening around you, and you'll be able to respond in character a little more efficiently rather than your go-tos. So just like try, if meditation doesn't work for you, it doesn't really work for me a lot of the time, but how I find a way to get yourself grounded and more in the moment, be in the moment a lot of the time, all the time. But for me, I get grounded just by like sitting somewhere. I guess it is a form of meditation, but I sit and I just kind of look around and listen to what everyone else is doing. Like, it'll look like I'm zoned out, but I'm not. I'm like trying my best to like be in the moment rather than in my head. So so physically grounded, mentally grounded. Go on. This is a very specific piece of advice, but don't underestimate how postseason sports affect crowds. Oh.
Because haunt season is usually when NBA playoffs are, and usually when the World Series is. And if you live in Los Angeles like we do, who's had a baseball team in the World Series like the past 3 years or whatever, and having Lakers and like all that, I don't know which is worse, when the team loses or the team wins. Because I think probably if they lose, because then they're rowdy and upset. Yeah. And like don't want to be messed with.
They're
as opposed to if they win.
A good mood. Like they're gonna be rowdy no matter what.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. And then just one real quick, one of my favorite celebrity that I've ever noticed is the guys from Ghost Adventures, because I thought that was just so ironic and perfect. And then my favorite thing that's ever happened with guests, and it happened numerous times, was in my first maze where I had the red wig. The maze there to get to one of my spots, you had to go like it within the maze. There was like a long hallway to get to like some of the hides. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it was about the door that let you into that like backstage area, but it would probably at least once a weekend be pushed open. And because it's lit by a blue light, guests see it and they think that's where they're supposed to go.
Never go
and
through a door.
So it would like cut off half the maze. So they go from almost the beginning to the end of the maze, and it leads right behind where I would leave the maze. And so all of a sudden I'm scaring, and I turn around and there's just a bunch of people just chilling back there looking real confused. And I'm a face character, so they can see me kind of like talking, but I still look awful. And so and it's loud, and they can't hear me, and I'm trying to get this fire hazard taken care of. I'm just like, y'all, you can't be back here. And so I'm trying to communicate, and they're just like, ah, and I'm like, no.
I'm not trying to scare you right now. Go that way.
Like, you need to go this way. Please walk. I'm like, oh no. It happened so many times. I was like, we have to put a lock on this door. Like, I understand that it sucks, but this can't be happening all the time.
Geez, that's so annoying. But that is a good point about the sports, because like you never know a lot of people are going to be affected by sports games, and if their team loses, they're going to be in a bad mood. Like, yeah, they're going to be rowdy if their team wins, so be aware of that. But if they lose, I do remember this happening, and that was a very good point that you brought up. Mm-hmm. I was told by my supervisors before we started scaring a night, hey, by the way, Lakers lost or something like that. I forgot what team it was, but it was like an LA team. Like, this team lost. Be prepared for a pissed off crowd. And they would get drunk. They would be like really violent. And it was just one of those really like, bad energy kind of nights.
Yeah.
So just
it makes them easy to spot though, because it's like, okay, bad sports night, look for a Lakers jersey, or bad sports night, look for a Dodger jersey or whatever. So it makes them easy to spot, but it's just kind of just like
it's so tough to deal with. Hi G-Man, thanks for being here. We're about to wrap it up actually, so any other fun scare stories to end on? Any best memorable moments?
Probably the year we got rained out. That one time.
What did you guys do for that?
So they pulled it because if you're on the street, especially, we had cobblestones, so they get slippery almost immediately. Yeah. Which was so amazing for like 5 minutes, because if the floor gets slippery, they have to take the people off the stilts. But they don't like get to take a break. They just get to be little mini versions of themselves.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was so funny to see this big stilt guy have his pants all rolled up, and he's got his big staff, and he's just running around on the ground like a little person. And I'm just like, oh my God, you're so cute. Look at you. You're so tiny. So we got pulled pretty early because we were on the street. Mm-hmm. And then they closed the maze pretty soon after that. Just because things started to like, because they cover the maze with fabric a lot of the time, and so the fabric will get full of water, and it will leak through the top. Also, we had a lot of open because of where it is. There's not a lot of covering, and so a lot of the maze is just open, and so it was getting wet, and so the actors were getting wet, and so the masks were getting wet, and like, so they pulled us. So, but they didn't send us home, and so we had an indoor break space that was kind of upstairs in the building, but then to have us be like on set and like doing our shift, they would have us down near the maze in a restaurant that was closed. And so we were literally just in the restaurant having like a dance party. We just like were blasting music and like dancing around, like doing line dancing, and just having a great time before they finally told us all to go.
That's
and then
so much fun.
I think at least half of us got sick because it was cold and it was rainy, and because it got hot in the restaurant, we opened the doors, and so the cold air was coming in, and so we didn't care. But it was, but yeah, that, and like we would play tag. We would play tag in the scare zone. Nice. And I don't know if you've ever been chased by someone on stilts. Oh yeah, because you're dogs. That would make so much. But yeah, so if the guy on stilts is it, oh my God, it's terrifying. It's terrifying because he is just sprinting down the thing trying to get you, and you're like, holy crap, where do I go?
It's like 2 steps and he already got me. That's not fair.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm in a dress. It's not fair. Go away.
I'm at a disadvantage. Yeah,
Like
no,
honestly, that's my favorite thing is just like the cast stuff.
yeah,
Just,
definitely work together with your scare actor friends. Definitely come up with like just fun things to do together when it gets slow. When it got really slow with us, first off, when it rained, we went inside and we played video games, and it was awesome. But when it was slow, one of the zombie kids would take a glow stick that he found on the ground and throw it at the feet of guests, and then the wolf girls would have to like run, scare the guests off of it, and then try and pick it up. And it's really hard when you're a full transformed wolf with the big mask, so you can't really see very well, but also like the claws with the super long nails that came out to like here. So then I'd try and like scoop the glow stick off and then like hold it with the other claws, the other fingernails, and just like run it back like this. And it was just the most awkward thing. It's like, I can't hold anything. I can't bend my gloves. I can't do anything. And then there's these long curved fingernails to work with. So it was just in between the nails. So I'm like,
your face is like, how are we doing this?
Yeah, thank God people couldn't see my face most of the time, because I was either laughing, crying, or like, okay, how do I? Okay, run it. Oh, I dropped it. Okay, scoop. Okay.
One of my favorite things that we did is kind of similar to what that Stilt guy did to you with giving you the hatchet. So in our masquerade zone, we had one character had a staff, like a scepter, and he was the only one with a prop. And so what he started to do is every so often he would get one of our attention, and then he would tell us to kneel down, and he would like knight us with the scepter, and then he would give it to us. And then so I would like wave it around with my big dress and like play with it, and I'd be like, ooh, a prop. And then we would like knight each other and like hand it off to other people.
That's so fun. Like I would have loved to have that hatchet. It's just I couldn't hold it because
you couldn't. There's no. You're just like.
I was just like, please, sir, take your hatchet back.
How I do.
I cannot hold it. So now I am Big Wolf with hatchet, very confused. Oh my God. It was a lot of fun. Like, scaring is so much fun, especially when you have good people to work with, and you could just create your own memories like that. I love stories like that. All right, I think it is about time. We have 6 minutes left. If there's anything else you'd like to add.
No, I was going to say, just for auditions, commit. Be crazy and commit.
Yes, always, because they would, and also don't touch the cone, and don't touch other actors. So what they're looking for in auditions mostly is like energy level. Can you sustain energy level? Like your endurance and everything. Are you just fun energy to have around? And can you follow the rules? One of them being don't touch the guests or other actors. So it's a lot, but definitely, even if you think it's stupid, as long as you commit, it shows them at least you could commit to something, you know?
I've literally done the same thing every year I've auditioned, and every year I get cast. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, just go in, have
commit.
fun. No
for
one
the love
really
of God,
knows what we're doing. Even if we've been auditioning for the same haunt for years, they might mix it up a year, so no one knows what's going to be happening in there. So just go in, have fun. I know it's nerve-wracking, especially your first time. I still get nervous every time because it's like, oh, it's not guaranteed I'm going to get a part. You never know.
I was so excited to like not have to audition this year. I was like, finally, we can just be cast. But then no.
I know, I was excited for that too. I was like, I signed up. I don't have to audition. Hopefully I'll get casted in something. And then it got canceled anyway. And I'm so upset about that. I was really curious where they would put us based on nothing. Like, we didn't audition or anything. It's just based on prior years. Where would you put us?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I wish we could have scared this year, but maybe next year. I don't know.
I'm okay with taking a break that I didn't have to choose. Like, I didn't have to make the choice. It was made for me. Because I feel like I'm a little bit older as far as scare actors go. So I feel like my body's like, you know what? This is fine.
I was worried about choosing because of the mess. Mm-hmm. So in my head, I was like, I'll take it step by step. I'll audition. I'll see what I get cast as, depending on where I am. If it's a safe enough area, I'll scare. But if it's not, then I'll express it. If they can't do anything about it, then it's a no. But it was really it heightened my anxiety so much to even think like I had to make a choice like that. Usually it's like, hell yeah, let's scare.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree with you. I'm happy I didn't have to make the choice for me, because that was a very difficult choice. But I still want to scare. Yeah, I want to be able to actually record myself scaring, because that seems to do pretty well on TikTok, and I don't have any of that. I never thought to do that in the past, and then TikTok came after, so I don't know. And also, if you were thinking,
it'll be back.
It'll be back. It'll be fine. But just to let you know, you're on TikTok, right? Yeah, that's right. We follow each other on there. Not sure if you know, but it might get banned November 12th. We don't know yet. So just so you know. It's one of those of like, the first time they said it might get banned, we were all freaking out going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah.
Then the second time, and then the third time, and now the fourth time, we're just like, just tell us what's going on. I don't know.
I mean, it's just 2020 at this point.
It's just all a big 2020. That is a new swear word, I think, from now on. Like, 2020. It's just, it's a mess. It's all a mess.
You are being so 2020 right now.
Oh God, stop being so 2020. That is so 2020 of you to say.
Yeah. You're being such a 2020.
2020 called it, wants your horrible attitude back. Like,
oh my God.
So Kim, is there any social media handles or projects that you would like to promote before we call it a night?
Oh, sure. I work with a theater company called Boomstick Theater. You can find us on Instagram and on Twitch and on YouTube. We are working on putting out some online content. We've already streamed our first full show. So please subscribe or follow us if you're interested in theater stuff. We do a lot of like quirky, kind of off the beaten path kind of stuff.
It's true. I've seen some of their shows and they're great, so I can vouch.
And then I work with another company called Accidental Jacket. They're also on Instagram and Twitch, and they do gaming streams and they do pop culture streams, and we're working with them to do theater stuff as well. So
yay! And all this information is in the description of this video. So if you're interested in following, there's your information. Please do. Kim is very awesome. I love her so much. And thank you for your time, Kim. I hope you had fun during this interview. If you ever want to be interviewed again, I am booking for like December and after, and we'll see how everything goes with 2020. You know how it is. But yeah.
Well, I hope your move goes well.
Thank you.
Good luck with
Me
your move.
too.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Hopefully we could hang out sometime soon after all this mess is over, because
we can do that Dead by Daylight thing.
Yes, let's do it. Okay. Well, thank you so much, everyone in the chat and everyone who's watching this. You're awesome too. I love you guys. Yeah. Thanks for watching the content. There are other interviews coming up on Saturday, same time, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard, 11 p.m. Eastern. And I have 2 more guests. I have 2 guests every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, unless something happens, whatever. Check Instagram for updates, because I am in the middle of a move. I do have work and everything, and tech hates me sometimes. You never know. So always check Instagram for updates. If there's no update on Instagram, that means everything's good to go at that time. So follow me on Instagram, here on YouTube. Also Twitch. I do Scareactor Plays Horror. Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Pacific time. And I've been playing a lot of Phasmophobia lately. So if you're interested in that, follow me on Twitch and all the things. And yeah, if you don't follow me on TikTok already, do that too. So yeah.
At least until November 12th, because who knows what's happening.
November 12th, we don't know what's going to happen. But in the meantime, I'm having fun on there. So I'm going to be making another few TikToks of like Scareactor content soon. I just need to have time to film. So yeah. Anyway, thanks everyone. Have a good night. I'm going to stop the stream now. Bye.